And welcome to the Sound Live Sports Network, where tonight, one of the biggest games in Mountlake Terrace Hawks regular season football history is about to take place in just a few minutes. It's the Mountlake Terrace Hawks versus the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, both teams with one loss in division play this year. We're coming towards the end of the season. The team that wins this game tonight essentially controls their own destiny at that point, is in the driver's seat for second place, a second place seeding, by the way, that also comes with an automatic playoff berth into the state playoffs. Mountlake Terrace looking to make the playoffs for the third straight year, a place they've only been 3 other times in the school's history. And oh, by the way, a little more history for you. If they win tonight, they secure a winning season for the third straight year, something that has never been done in the school's 53-year history. So it doesn't get much bigger than this in the regular season, and we're just a few minutes away. It's the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, it's the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, and it's coming at you right now on the Sound Alive Sports Network. We're going to take a quick break and get right to the action.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Steve Willits and I will be joined very shortly by former Mountlake Terrace Hawks assistant coach Jody Wallace. You are tuning in to a huge football game here tonight. If you are a longtime Mountlake Terrace Hawks fan, you know exactly how big of a game this is. This is for second place, and this is for a chance at securing a playoff berth, something the Mountlake Terrace Hawks have only done 2 other times in school history. We're going to now turn off my mic and listen to the national anthem. And there we have it, the national anthem tonight, performed by the Mountlake Terrace Band, led by Darren Fall. Nice to see the band here. Cheerleaders are ready to go. It is a pink out game in honor of breast cancer awareness. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Perky even wearing a pink shirt tonight. The mascot, we like that. Hopefully a few more fans here still trickling in as this game is just a few moments away from kickoff. And once again, I'm being joined by Jody Wallace, former assistant coach with this Mountlake Terrace Hawks team as recent as last year. So Jody, you know a thing or two about this team. Are you surprised that they're 4-1 right now?
You know, to be honest, I am a little surprised because they lost a lot last year. You had Jevin Painui, who was a 4-year starter on both sides of the ball. You had Brett Potter, 3-year starter on both sides of the ball. Devontae Downs, number 2 athlete in the state, all graduate. And then, but I tell you what, Terrace has picked up where they left off last year, winning 3 games in a row to get into the playoffs. And here they are with another chance to make history.
Yeah, not bad. A 7-division team, or a league, and this was a team that was picked to finish in 5th by the coaches poll. So they've got a chance to be 2nd tonight.
Yeah.
And right away, we're ready for kickoff. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks wearing the home black. The Glacier Peak Grizzlies wearing the road whites. This is a Glacier Peak team that's a relatively new school, 6 years old, I believe, and a team that Mountlake Terrace has only defeated once in the school's history, and that was back in 2009.
Yes, you know, Terrace always plays those guys really tough, but somehow, always in the end, they seem to be able to squeak out a victory.
Should be interesting to see what this offense looks like for Glacier Peak as well. Rory Rosenbaugh, the head coach, he's known for liking to throw the ball a lot. He spread offense. They like to put it up in the air. Don't quite have the same personnel this year, and so far they've been running just as much as they've been throwing. So we'll see what it looks like once it gets rolling here.
Yeah, really switched it up this year. That's a live ball.
That ball hits the turf on the 11-yard line, is finally picked up and looking for some room, but not finding quite that much is number 5. That's Devin Woolhoff. The 5'8", 160-pound junior returns that ball for a gain of about, we'll call it 11 yards. It looks as though they're going to spot it right on the 22, and that is where Glacier Peak will start their first possession of the night.
Yeah, not the traditional great Glacier Peak Grizzlies that we're accustomed to here.
No, an interesting team. That's number 7, Brady Southard, the quarterback, 6'4", 220. He's going to start off with 4 receivers. Number 21, that's Justin Guffey. He's the leading receiver on this team right now. Guffey, a 6'1", 165-pound junior, wearing Sean Elledge's old number. Elledge was an all-state caliber of player who's now over at Central Washington. No pressure there following that. Southard's going to put it up in the air right off the bat. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Cole McFadden on the play. And one of the Hawks there to defend it awfully quickly.
Yeah, Josh Hopkins came up and made a nice little stick right there and made him drop the ball.
So a 2nd and 10, and of course, as soon as I say they don't like to throw the ball as much as they used to, they go to the air. Let's see what they do here on this next play. He's got number 1, Dexter Carter, in the backfield with him as well. He's going to throw against Southard, this time hitting Guffey along that right sideline for a gain of about 8 yards. It's going to come up a little short of the first down marker. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 2 rather.
Tackle was made by Riley, and he's really come on this year. He's stepped up his game. He's playing a lot on offense and defense.
Yeah, number 33, Riley Morin, the junior. He's really shown himself to be a valuable asset to this football team, and a speedy kid at that. He's got some wheels. Southern's going to hand this one off. Black looking up the middle, finds enough space for a first down and a little bit more. Finally gets thrown down out of bounds at the 42-yard line. I take that back. That was Dexter Carter on the play. Carter getting thrown out of bounds at the 42 after picking up 11 yards and a Glacier Peak first down. This is a bit of a 2-headed monster at running back this year. We're going to see, and for that matter, there's 3 running backs that have the majority of the yards. I mentioned Dexter Carter there a moment ago, 14 carries for 131 yards coming into the year, and he's their number 3 rusher in terms of yardage for the season. Ian Black and Diago Ayala also players that get a lot of carries, and we get movements on both sides of the ball there. I'm not sure who they're going to call that on as we wait to see what the referees signal, and it is going to be called against the defense.
Yeah, it looks like Billy Parkinson jumped off sides.
Billy Parkins, by the way, had a heck of a game against Shorecrest last week. A couple of sacks and doing a nice job to clog up the middle there in a 44-7 victory over the Scots. So first drive of the game. Clock showing 10:50 to go here, first quarter. Glacier Peak Grizzlies looking at a 1st and 5 on their own 47-yard line. Cannot stress this enough. The winner of this game moves into sole possession of second place. And that ball is handed off right up the middle. That is number 44, Diago Ayala. Mentioned his name just a moment ago, the leading rusher for the Grizzlies so far this year. Ayala picks up a gain of about 4 yards. It's going to be a 2nd and a long one.
Yeah, Grizzlies come back out in that double wing. I think this is what the Terrace usually practice for all week.
Yeah. And here comes the play, 2nd and 1. Handoff up the middle to Ayala. Ayala finds enough space for a first down and then some. Gets ahead to the 41-yard line. Gain of 8 and another Grizzlies first down.
Nice tackle by Austin Bates, squeezing down that line and stopping him.
So the second first down for Glacier Peak in this game. They're already into Hawks territory at the 41. Going to pitch that one out to Carter. Carter looking for room along the right. Finds a little bit there as he gets ahead to the 34-yard line, a gain of 7 yards. And, boy, I'll tell you, Jody, if you can pick up 6 or 7 yards per carry, you're going to matriculate the ball down the field awfully quickly, and that's going to lead to points.
Yes, they've picked up 2 third downs already and looking at a 2nd and 5.
So they are now at the 35-yard line. Just a little more than 2 minutes into this game as the clock now showing 9:58. Hawks looking for a big stop here. It is 2nd and 4 showing up on the board. Souther drops back to pass, throws a little bubble screen to Guffey. Guffey's got some room to the 20, spins down to the 16-yard line where he's finally dropped after a gain of 19 yards and another first down.
That was set up well by the Grizzlies, and he had blockers out in front.
And that's the play that you see more and more in this day and age. Just throw the little screen out to the right or the left. Have a few wide receivers ahead of you for lead blocking, and if you can pick up the first 2 defenders, you usually have some space.
Yes, and the Grizzlies have been doing that for about 6 years now, so they do have a lot of practice.
Indeed they do. So we mentioned earlier, maybe not a lot of passing, but the Grizzlies so far managing to get it done both ways here so far, and they throw another screen out. This time it's read beautifully by the Hawks, as that was Cole McFadden catching one out to the left side. And they originally ended up spotting that last play down at the 18-yard line as McFadden gets ahead to the 16, a gain of 2, which brings up a 2nd and 8. Noticing that the Grizzlies are doing a lot of shuffling in and out as well, changing up their personnel, and really we've seen a couple of different sets so far in terms of we've seen the wide open offense, we've seen the wing T already there. They're mixing it up nicely so far.
Yeah, they're throwing a lot at Terrace right off the bat.
Southern throws this one down the middle, and he makes the catch and goes into the end zone. That is number 21, Justin Guffey, from 16 yards out. And with 8:47 to go in the first quarter, the Grizzlies strike first. Just a nice intermediate route, about 10 yards down the field. Right along the right hashes there, Guffey catching the ball, turns it around, and finds his way into the end zone for the first score of the game.
Yeah, Terrace had 3 defenders there, but just couldn't knock the ball down or make a tackle before he got in the end zone.
We await the PAT. Spencer Pettit, who is listed as the number 8 kicker in America. And they're going to fake this one. Here's pitch it out to Pettit. Pettit bobbles it, and does he get in? You have got to be kidding me. Very nicely done. Don't think that's quite the way they diagrammed it, as Matthew Darling, with a little bit of an option there, the holder, sweeped out to the right. He pitched it to Pettit at the last second over the arms of a defender. Pettit bobbled it in the air a few times before finally grabbing the ball and getting into the corner right inside the pylon. So we're going to take a quick break now with 8:47 to go in the first quarter. Glacier Peak on the board first. They've got 8. Hawks look to answer. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And here we go. Kickoff out of bounds as Mountlake Terrace looks to come onto the field on their offensive side for the first time tonight. If you're just tuning in, Glacier Peak putting together a very nice 78-yard drive to open this game, taking 3 minutes and 13 seconds off of the clock, ending up with a 18-yard touchdown pass that was caught by Justin Guffey. And then on the ensuing PAT, or so we thought it was a PAT, a fake PAT as Matthew Darling pitched the ball to Spencer Pettit, who found some room along the right-hand sideline and got it into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And here we stand with Glacier Peak leading 8-0 early in this game. Hawks coming out in that wing T offense. Malcolm Johnson, big number 9, going up the middle and finding some room. Barrels his way down to the 44-yard line. Just inside the 44-yard line marker there. About a yard short, maybe even about 2 feet short, as the Hawks looking at second and less than a yard.
That was an excellent run, way to start it off from Mountlake Terrace. I mean, when you pick up 9 yards on the first down, it makes it a little bit easier for second.
So we're looking at a 2nd and 1 coming up here right now. Get you caught up on some of these players in a minute. If you do have one jersey change to note, if when I see the player go into the game, we'll let you know about it. And that's Colin Recker. No, they faked me out even. Dive right up the middle. Malcolm Johnson once again, gain of only 2 yards, but when you only need 1, you'll take the 2, and that is a first down for the Hawks.
Yeah, way to keep the chains moving there. Malcolm Johnson's just a beast to tackle.
And here comes number 3 right now, and a lot of uncertainty as to what was going on in the booth as I keep having conversations with the PA announcers here. We're trying to figure this out, and we finally did. Daniel Johnson, one of the leading wide receivers for the Hawks, who normally wears number 6, is wearing number 3 tonight. I'm not sure what's going on there with the jersey, but there's a little bit of a malfunction of some sort as Justin Hopkins is going to keep it, and he shows off some wheels and fights his way forward to the 41-yard line of Glacier Peak. Hopkins picking up 14 yards and another Terrace first down.
Yeah, that was an excellent run, and he even had a little downfield blocking by his wide receiver out there to get him an extra 5 yards.
That is a play we do not see very often here at Mountlake Terrace. As Hopkins for the year coming into this game, 15 yards total offense rushing. And he had picked up 14 on that play, so he almost doubled his yardage total for the year on one play. Hoppy showing off some wheels.
Yes.
7:12 to go here first quarter. Hawks trailing by 8. They're looking to score. That ball goes to Malcolm Johnson. Johnson not finding much room there. He might have picked up a yard.
Yeah, Glacier Peak's linebackers are coming downhill on that play, and they read that pretty well.
So again, Daniel Johnson wearing the number 3. His cousin Andre normally wears the number 3. Or did wear the number 3 earlier this year. I believe he's not on the team right now, so that's a little bit odd, but I'll have to get used to that one. So yeah. If we call him Andre tonight, or if we hear the PA announcers call him Andre, we'll know what's going on. But that is, in fact, the sophomore and the brother of number 9, Malcolm Johnson. As we get movement along the line there as we wait to see who they're going to call it on.
Like Hopkins tried to get him on a hard count, and he did succeed.
And much like the first drive of the game where Glacier Peak was able to lure the Hawks offsides on one play, Hawks returning the favor there and picking up a free 5 yards, if you will. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 4 just outside the 35-yard line. And the Hawks here are on the move on their first drive of the game. Wing T offense. That's Ryan Lacoste on the wing on the left side. Looks like Colin Rutker on the right. And fumbled the snap, and I'm not sure if Glacier Peak didn't get that ball. They sure did. Just a botched snap there between Drew Clifford and Justin Hopkins. Big number 51 picking up that ball. That is Moises Fafihita coming away with that ball, and Glacier Peak already with an 8-0 lead, and now they get to take the field on offense for the second time tonight.
And that is something you cannot do against Glacier Peak. Turnovers will kill you every time. They like to take advantage of those.
And especially when you're moving the ball as smoothly as you were for the first 40-plus yards of that drive.
Yeah, Terrace did have a nice drive going.
So it's 6:19 to go here in the first quarter. Glacier Peak scored 8 on their first possession, holding the Hawks to 0 on their first offensive attempt of the game. And now Peak back on the field. Handoff goes up the middle. That is number 34, Ian Black, getting his first carry of the game. Black fights his way forward to the 43-yard line, a gain of 7. That's going to bring up 2nd and 3.
Looks like Glacier Peak's going to try to spread them out and just run it right up the middle and make Terrace see if they can tackle or not. It's
working so far. If it's not broken, don't fix it, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. 3 receiver set here out to the right. Wouldn't surprise me if they run again. This time they're going to pass, though. Southard throws the ball over to the right. McFadden catches it. Slips off the first initial would-be tackler, which was Josh Hopkins. Dives his way forward to the 46-yard line of Mountlake Terrace after that. Enough yardage to move the chains. Gives Glacier Peak another first down. And this was something the Hawks were worried about coming into the season, knowing that they graduated quite a few players on that front 7, especially in the linebacking core. And we know that Mikey Jensen having himself a heck of a year, by the way, at that middle linebacker. I think he's surprised a lot of us, but so far the Grizzlies seem to be finding a weakness there up the middle, and they're just exploiting it. Southard throws this ball out to Carter on the right-hand side. Carter is dragged down. That is number 3. That is Johnson on the play, and I'm not sure what happened there, but they called a very late flag, and it might have even been a horse collar.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I did see Johnson's antics afterwards, so I do think it might be on him.
He seemed very upset with the call initially, so I think you are right. It is, in fact, going to be on Johnson.
Another thing you can't do against Glacier Peak, turn the ball over and then give them an extra 15 yards.
And apparently that's more of the inadvertent face mask, so it's only the 5-yard variety, but still at that it moves the ball forward to the 41-yard line. That was no gain on the play, so it's going to move it up and give them a 1st and 5. Not quite as bad as 15 yards, but at the same time you're giving them a 1st and short, which doesn't make it any easier. Southern throwing the ball incomplete. Throwing a slant play. That was intended for number 15, Devon Green, the 5'11", 210-pound junior. Just overthrew him slightly, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, Green there just running that slant and sitting where the Terrace players aren't in that little zone and trying to get the ball to him.
So 5:06 showing in the clock here in the first quarter. Glacier Peak already with an 8-0 lead and looking for more. Trips left right now. The 1 receiver out to the right. Handoff to Ayala on the play. Ayala on the draw, finding some space, and is finally brought down at the 23-yard line, but not until he picks up another 18 yards and another Glacier Peak first down.
Very similar to the play we just saw. Spread them out and then run it right up the middle.
That is your good old-fashioned draw play there. You take a 2 or 3 step drop, let everybody think you're passing, and then just give it to your running back, and by that point, all the defenders have spread out a little bit, and you find some open space, and that's what they did. Going to throw a screen pass this time as Guffey catches the ball on the 24, fights his way forward to about the 20-yard line, and we get another very late flag thrown right at the tackling spot.
Looked like number 69 and number 2 were both joined up pretty good on the end of that run. We'll see what the refs call.
Yeah, 69 being Austin Gasper. He's a sophomore offensive lineman, and the number 2 for the Hawks is Tanner Munnis. The referees having a little conference here right at the 22-yard line as they decide what they're going to do. Going to call a chop block, illegal block on Glacier Peak. I believe that should be I guess they're going to call that a 10-yarder. It's a spot foul, so it's going to move it back to the 31-yard line. Should bring up a 2nd and 17. I've yet to see the chains move, and I've yet to see the yard marker flipped over, but if my Mountlake Terrace math does me correctly, it should be the right call here. Glacier Peak, a team that certainly doesn't want to waste any time. They're a no-huddle team for the most part. Immediately back in formation here and ready to go at 4:38 to go in the first quarter. Southern takes the snap. He's going to throw this time. Looks over the middle. Incomplete. That was intended for number 21, Justin Guffey. Guffey wanting the penalty flag there. He's not going to get it. Riley Morin defending on the play.
That was a little close there, but I like to see a no call and just let the players play.
Especially on a play like that where the ball's a little overthrown anyway. I do not think that whether he was running that pattern by himself or if Riley Morin was there, it was going to matter much. And that will bring up, they're still showing a 2nd and 17 up here. I thought that should have been a marker should have been flipped after that last play that the penalty was called on, but they're not doing that. And Ayala's going to take this one up the middle. Doesn't find much space as he gets ahead to maybe the 28-yard line. Number 71, Miles Allen on the tackle. And Allen, a player who's stepped up nicely this year for the Hawks.
Yeah, another junior that's really stepped it up. He did get a lot of playing time last year as a sophomore when he was like the 6th man on the line. And when anyone needed a little breather or anyone got hurt, he was there to step in, and it's showing.
I was talking to Coach Umayim after the first game of the year against Mariner, and I'm starting to sound like a broken record because I think I've told the story a couple times on the air now. Coach Umayim said it was the best game he's seen from a nose tackle in the 11 years that he's coached Mountlake Terrace.
Wow.
Yeah, that's high praise right there, and he's had some pretty good nose tackles over the years. So we got trips to the left this time. This is a big play. 3rd and 15 coming up. We might get a chance to see Spencer Pratt if there's an incompletion. Guffey makes the catch and goes to the end zone. Touchdown, Glacier Peak. Justin Guffey on the slant play. Got by Riley Morin. The pass went right over Morin's head. Guffey bobbled it initially but pulled it in for the 29-yard touchdown. Guffey's 2nd of the game. That makes the score Glacier Peak 14, Mountlake Terrace 0.
Yeah, I don't know what defense they were in, but I think Riley might have thought that he had a little help over the top with a safety.
Yeah, Riley broke on that play, maybe even a bit early too, as there was about 5 or 6 yards between him and Guffey when he went to try to bat that ball down as Pettit puts the kick up and through. And with 3:35 to go here in the first quarter, not the start the Hawks wanted tonight. Glacier Peak 15, Mountlake Terrace 0. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again on the Sound Alive Sports Network. Spencer Pettit with the monster leg, and he shows it off that time, kicking it out of the back of the end zone. And started to mention this earlier, Spencer Pettit, by one of the college publications, was rated as the number 8 college prospect at kicker in the country earlier this year. Kicked a couple of 50-plus field goals last year and has done that, I think, one other time this season so far. And the kid has a foot and then some. Don't know where he's going yet next year, but he can certainly put that ball through the uprights and out of the end zone for that matter when he needs to, and he just showed it there. Hawks in the wing T formation again. This time they're going to give to Lacoste. Lacoste looking for room around the right. Finds a little bit. Lunges his way forward at the end of the play for a first down. Picked up 11 yards, and the Hawks moving the chains there on the first play. And they've shown that they can get the yardage here against Glacier Peak. Now they just need to show that they can get the ball all the way down into the end zone without turning it over.
Yeah, another great first down call. Got 11. Way to start off the drive.
So if you're just joining us, this is the Mountlake Terrace Hawks' second possession of the game. Glacier Peak scoring on their first 2 drives, putting up 15 points. The Hawks on their first possession, well, they marched the ball down the field rather nicely, but then they turned it over on a botched snap, and they might have just done it again. And if that's a turnover, they're going to say the Hawks got it back, but my goodness, that is football 101 right there, Jody. You cannot put that ball on the ground on the snap.
No, and especially can't do it twice. This time it would have been on the 30-yard line for the Grizzlies.
So the Hawks getting very lucky on that play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 9. And certainly this is a quarterback-center combination that knows each other very well. Drew Clippert, a 2-year starter at center, as well as Justin Hopkins. This shouldn't be anything new to them. Hopkins takes the snap, almost bobbled that one there, and he finally gets it to Lacoste. Lacoste looking for room back in the middle. Doesn't find much, and I tell you, from up here it looked as though Hopkins had trouble getting possession of that ball initially.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. I mean, this is game number 6, and they haven't had that yet, and all of a sudden they're starting to fumble, maybe a little bit nervous. It is a big game.
Well, if they are nervous, they need to get those out of the system awfully quickly. They're down by 15 already, and this is where you measure championship caliber teams. It's how do you take those first couple punches, and certainly Glacier Peak's come out here and slugged you in the mouth a couple times already. If you're the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, you need to step up, and we're going to see what they've got here as a 3rd and 7 is coming up. Fakes the handoff. Hopkins rolling out to the right and not finding any room. He goes down in the backfield. That is number 8. Andrew McCoy on the tackle. McCoy, a junior also. Well, I've got to tell you, we seem to be calling a lot of juniors and sophomores out for Glacier Peak. This is a team that is loaded for next year, but right now they're not concerned about next year. They're looking good tonight.
Knowing Glacier Peak, they've been loaded for the last 6 years. Whenever they have a graduating class, they just bring a new one in, it seems like.
Yeah, I forget the number, but somebody was telling me they had over 100 kids turn out for their program this year. As Austin Bates gets off a high kick, not very far. It bounces at the 47. Unfortunately for the Hawks, it takes a nice roll. It's finally going to stop at the 37-yard line. That is a 34-yard punt. And with 1 minute to go here in the quarter, Glacier Peak, their offense is coming onto the field, and already with a 15-0 lead, they're looking for more. I just got a note from Scott Oshman, who is the play-by-play announcer for Glacier Peak when they do home games, and he was just informing me that Spencer Pettit, the kicker, is heading on a recruiting trip to Penn State after the game tonight. When you are the number 8 kicker in the nation, you get to take recruiting trips wherever the heck you want, and Penn State's not a bad little place to end up.
Yeah, that's traditionally a great football program and good university.
And Angelo Como pointing out that we've got extra media coverage here tonight. I believe Como was going to be here at some point to cover part of this game. As Carter looking for some room out to the right and is finally brought down by a couple of different Hawk tacklers, one of which was number 8, Ryan Lacoste. Brings him down at the 44-yard line. Pickup of 6, and hey, if you're Glacier Peak, you'll take that every time.
Yeah, when your safety's making the tackle, got to get those linebackers going.
Well, and as great as the 4-1 start has been for the Hawks, their safety is their leading tackler so far this year. So we've seen Ryan Lacoste do that many times. Part of that is that the players are getting into the backfield, but a lot of that is because of the fact that Lacoste is just that good as well. There's almost a botched play at the line of scrimmage as number 27 takes the carry. It's Matthew Darling as he and Southard were met immediately at the line of scrimmage there. I didn't see which Hawk got in there, but almost forced the fumble. Was that Billy Parkins?
Billy Parkins, yeah, that was
nice.
A great play getting in the backfield. That could have been a huge turn of events for Terrace if he could have caused that fumble.
Instead, it's a 5-yard pickup and a first down as the clock is showing 6 seconds to go. We'll see if Southard gets off another snap before the end of the first quarter. 2-1, he finally gets it off. The Hawks are looking to, actually Glacier Peak looking to fire that one forward as Ayala is tackled at the Hawk 48 after picking up 3. And we have come to the end of the first quarter of action. And if you're a Glacier Peak Grizzly fan, you have to like what you've seen so far. Glacier Peak 15, Mountlake Terrace 0. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely
We are back
terrific.
again, second quarter of action underway. Brady Southard fumbles the football, and the Hawks think they have it. And they do. Nicely done for the Hawks. Number 71, Miles Allen, coming up with that one, as that was just a quarterback keeper from the start. Southard looked to have 3 or 4 yards on that play, and as he was fighting for more, the ball popped out. And the Hawks finally catching a break, and they're going to get the ball at their own 49-yard line.
Yeah, good momentum swing right here. See if the Hawks can make something.
Just looking at this first half stats, 156-32 total yards of offense, the Grizzlies over the Hawks. And Mountlake Terrace, they've already put themselves in a 15-0 hole, looking to get out of it right now, and they catch a break there as they get the ball right before midfield there. Going to hand that one off to Colin Rutker. Rutker looking for some room around the left side on the sweep. Doesn't get much. He might have picked up, we'll call it a yard on the play as he gets ahead to the 49-yard line of Glacier Peak.
He looked pretty speedy coming around the corner, but just no holes there to keep going.
Yeah, Rutger listed at 5'10", 170, and I got to tell you, I stood by Colin Rutger. I don't know if he's 5'10", 170. I think he might be a little smaller than that, but he is fast, to say the least, and got his first touchdown last week, a 40-yard catch over the middle against Shorecrest. That play didn't work out quite as well, as it only picks up a yard. Hawks looking at a 2nd and 9. Hopkins rolls out, throws to his twin brother. That's Justin to Josh. Skipped it to him, incomplete, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 9. The Hopkins brothers only connecting one time so far this year. They completed their first pass, first connection from Hopkins to Hopkins last week. And Josh, one of the leading receivers last year. So 3rd and 9 coming up. Malcolm Johnson in the backfield. Rutger on the right wing. Lacoste on the left. Lacoste goes in motion. And whistles blow. Hawks are pointing towards Glacier Peak like maybe one of the defensive players moved early. See if that's wishful thinking or if that is in fact the case.
Looks like it could be. That makes it a little more easier. 3rd and 9 goes to 3rd and 6.
3rd and 4, yeah.
Third
He
and
picked up
4?
5 yards, yeah.
Yeah,
From a coaching standpoint, you'll take 3rd and 4 over 3rd and 9 every time, right?
all day.
And that is exactly what the Hawks will be looking at. On the Glacier Peak 44-yard line, I would be curious if they come up a bit short here, if Coach Umayim decides to go for it here. We might not have to find out. Let's see here, as he is in fact going to have to find out, as Lacoste is met at the line of scrimmage by a handful of Glacier Peak players.
4th and 4 might be a little too much for Coach U.
Yeah, you're at the 44-yard line of Glacier Peak, so you could certainly play the possession game here a little bit. Now, your defense has struggled, though. Glacier Peak's marched the ball down twice on you already.
They're still talking to Hopkins over there, though.
And Daniel Johnson coming back onto the field. I believe that's Gabe Brady as well. They're going for it here on 4th and 4.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, 10:19 to go here, first quarter. We'll see if it's pleasantly surprised or not, depending on if they convert it here. It's Malcolm Johnson in the backfield. He's got 2 receivers out to the left. Looks like Johnson and Brady. He looks to the left to throw it, and the ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. And Glacier Peak, as it turns out, that fumble just a few moments ago doesn't turn out to hurt them very much at all, as they really only lose 6 yards on the play or on that drive, and they're going to take over possession on their own 44-yard line.
Terrace being known as a running team, Glacier Peak is just stacking everybody in the box, really putting one-on-one coverage out there and just bringing the house.
So the Glacier Peak offense onto the field for the 4th time tonight. Scored on their first 2 possessions and then turned it over on a fumble the last time they had the ball. 10:01 showing on the clock here, second quarter. Glacier Peak 15, Mountlake Terrace 0. And Southard drops back to pass, looks over the middle initially, and then finally throws it out to the left sideline where Dexter Carter was waiting for it. The ball bounces off Carter's hands, falls to the turf, and we're looking at 2nd and 10.
Yeah, he had some running room right there if he would have been able to catch that cleanly.
Yeah, give credit to Southard. He looked down the field first. They had the defense locked down there and thinking that was where the ball was going, and then he looked over at the last second to where Carter was, and Carter had a one-on-one, and if he catches that ball and gets by the first defender, he might still be running. 5 seconds ticked off the clock on that play. We're looking at 9:56 to go here in the half. Glacier Peak 15, Mountlake Terrace 0. Southard in shotgun formation. Throw into the left sideline, incomplete as he bounces that one off the turf, underthrowing number 23, Cole McFadden. That will bring up a big 3rd and 9 coming up for the Grizz.
This is a big stop for the Terrace Hawks if they can get it. They have, I think Glacier Peak has converted 2 third downs already.
Now this one being a 3rd and 10. They've certainly converted a few balls down the field in terms of finding Guffey on a couple of long passes early on. This time they're going to do a draw play to Ayala. Ayala runs right up the middle, breaks through the first set of tacklers, and fights his way forward to a first down. He needed 10. He picked up 11. And Glacier Peak moving the chains. They will now have the ball at the Hawks' 45-yard line.
Seems to be their go-to play. 3 times in a row when they really needed it, and 34 is a tough guy to bring down.
Ayala having himself a nice ball game here so far. 9:36 to go, second quarter. Rory Rosenbaugh and coaching staff for the Grizzlies signaling plays in from the sideline. Southard in shotgun formation, takes the snap, looks downfield, fires the ball. Incomplete, overthrowing everybody on that play. Was looking for Justin Guffey, and Guffey as well as the Hawks center fielder Ryan Lacoste both going up for that ball. Neither one of them able to come down with it, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 10. $9:21 to go here in the first half. The game between 2 teams vying for second place in the Wesco 3A South Division. Mountlake Terrace with a division record of 3-1, Glacier Peak with a record of 2-1. And on that play, Carter starts to run to the left, cuts it back into the middle of the field. It's finally brought down at the 39-yard line. However, a penalty flag lands in the middle of the backfield there, and we'll wait to see who that's called on.
Yeah, that came in from a long ways.
Holding against Glacier Peak. Yeah, it was a 6-yard run, and that was thrown right about where he was tackled at, so it was almost as though one of the lead linemen on that play might have been called for something at the very last second as the flag was thrown just as Carter was being tackled. That will be a spot foul. Moves the ball back to the 50-yard line. We'll bring up a 2nd and 15 for the Grizzlies. Peak looking at a 2nd and 15. They've got Carter and McFadden lined up to the left. Guffey, one of the receivers, out to the right. Ayala in the backfield.
There's that draw again.
Draw play one more time, and once again it works as Ayala finds a little room to run. Gets forward for 6 yards. It's going to make 3rd down a lot easier as it brings up 3rd and 9.
Yeah, that Terrace defense is going to have someone spying on number 34 the rest of the game, it seems like.
And that's one of those plays where you feel like it's, fool me once, fool me twice type of thing. But after the 4th or 5th time, you would think you'd catch on to it a little bit, and they haven't quite done that yet. They're going to actually spot that at the 45 now, so a 3rd and 10. Looking for a bubble screen, and they throw it as Guffey makes the catch at the 44-yard line, fights through a couple of tacklers, and gets to the first down marker and then some before Tanner Munnis finally brings him down at the 28-yard line, but not before Guffey picks up 17 more yards.
And here's that hurry up that Glacier Peak is known for.
8:21 to go, and the Hawks had a few opportunities there to tackle Guffey behind the first down marker. Just a lot of missed tackles, and give Guffey some credit as well. He fought his way through one or two of them and made a couple of nice moves to get upfield. And Glacier Peak, they keep moving that ball, and then with 8:03 to go here, they're already up by 15, and they're looking for more. Southern throwing the screen pass to Ayala along the right sideline. Ayala cuts it up the field, picks up a first down and then some. Finally tackled out at the 16-yard line, but not before he picks up 12 more yards.
Yeah, they are on the move.
And Mikey Jensen and Ryan Lacoste on the tackle. And once again, Glacier Peak taking their plays from the sideline. They are not going into that huddle whatsoever. As Southern and the rest of the team on the line of scrimmage and ready to go. Whisper something back to Ayala. That's Ian Black. I'm sorry, Ian Black, number 34. Ayala is 44. And this one is, in fact, going to go to Black as he lunges forward to the 13-yard line. He might have picked up 3 on the play. We'll bring up a 2nd and 7.
Mikey Jensen again coming in from that linebacker position to make the tackle.
So the clock continues to run here. 7:04 to go in the half. And we know that Glacier Peak is well within field goal range already, as we've already talked about it a little bit tonight. Spencer Pettit with a leg that is good from 50 yards out and more. As Black goes on, ball's on the ground one more time, and Southern is lucky to get back on that one as it takes a nice field turf bounce right back up to him, and he quickly gets down on that ball. He did lose 3 yards on the play, but from their standpoint, they regain possession, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 12 for Glacier Peak.
Glacier Peak's giving Terrace a chance to get that ball. That's twice it's been on the ground.
And unfortunately for the Hawks, this time it ends up back in the Glacier Peak Grizzly hands. It's 6:14 to go here, first half. Southern looking into the end zone, wanting to throw it. Finally throws a short pass, completes it to Carter, but Carter is not going anywhere, however. Might have picked up 2 yards, and that's going to bring up a 4th and 10.
Brady dropping back, number 80, right into the flats. I thought he was going to have a pick.
Gabe Brady with a 57-yard interception return for a touchdown last week. Would have been a nice time for a pick 6 number 2 in 2 weeks, but unfortunately for the Hawks, he doesn't get it.
It would have been.
So Spencer Pettit, who's on his way to Penn State tomorrow to check out Happy Valley and the Nittany Lions campus, is going to try a field goal right here. It's blocked! Blocked up into the air and finally goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line. And I don't know if it was Mikey Jensen that got that or was it Daniel Johnson?
They were both so close. I don't know exactly who got that, but they came at a great time.
That is huge, as that keeps it down to a 2-possession ball game still. 15-0, and Spencer Pettit, who is usually automatic, and certainly you can't blame Pettit on that one. It wasn't the kick that didn't go far enough. It was his offensive line that maybe didn't give him enough time, and the Hawks bust on through there and block the kick.
Yeah. Hope Penn State doesn't see that.
Well, I have a feeling that if Pettit ends up going to Penn State, the line that will be blocking for him when he's kicking those field goals, it's going to be a little bit bigger than what he's got here at Glacier Peak.
Yes.
Penn State University, that would be something, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad place to go.
They must like the colors.
Yeah, they've already got him. You're right. There's Malcolm Johnson on the running play. Malcolm's got some room, and wow, he was one missed tackle away from still running down that field. He picks up 10 yards. That was number 15, Devon Green, who I'm not going to say he saved a touchdown, but he certainly saved a long gain.
Yeah, they kind of have gone away from Malcolm. They opened up with him. He got 8 yards right off the bat, and it's good to see him getting going again.
I'm going to give him 11 yards on that play, so he's down to the 42-yard line. Keep in mind the Hawks will have possession of the ball to start the second half. If they can get this down to a one-possession game, they would take it. But not with plays like that, as once again, I'm not sure what happened on that snap there. Justin Hopkins had to go very low to get it. And by the time he turned around, the play was already pretty much botched, and he did a nice job just to salvage it a little bit. Lost 2, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 12.
Yeah, the Hawks had the left side of the line overloaded. The play was going left, but once again, they couldn't get the snap.
Clock now showing 4:35. Plenty of time. Certainly no need to rush this one. 2nd and 12 coming up for the Hawks at their own 40. Going to hand that one to Lacoste, and Lacoste not finding much room to run at. Got tackled by Matthew Darling, number 27. Looked like Brandon Jensen and Ian Black also in on the tackle.
It's like man-on-man football, power football, but Grizzlies are still coming downhill.
Yeah, 3rd and 12, and this is certainly a situation that the Hawks have not shown to be overly strong in. They do like to throw that short, intermediate passing game. They like to throw the bubble screens a little bit. When they have to go downfield and get too vertical, they've struggled this year. So let's see what they've got here on 3rd and 12. They're going to hand it off to Malcolm Johnson, and Johnson pushes his way down to the 49-yard line, a gain of 11.
Going to be close.
And that's going to bring up another interesting call here as Coach Umayam already down by 15 here with 3:33 to go. He's looking at a 4th and 1, and he's got a decision to make. And it looks as though it's an easy decision as he's keeping that offense on the field right now. This is a huge play right now. If you can get the first down, it enables you to keep this drive alive. If you don't get it, you give Glacier Peak the ball at midfield with plenty of time to go down and get another score before the end of the half. Hopkins takes the snap, hands the ball off, and the Hawks are stood up at the line of scrimmage. And for the second time, they turn the ball over on downs as Malcolm Johnson finding no room to run. And the Hawks give Glacier Peak the ball right at the 49-yard line with 3 minutes even to go in the half.
Yeah, it looked like Glacier Peak had quite a few guys just keying right there on Malcolm. Short yardage, more than likely going to go with the big back, but he was stopped there.
It's interesting to note that this is we think of it as a big game here at Mountlake Terrace, but certainly everybody else around the area also thinking of it that way, is noticing a few more camera crews here than normal. And I was told at one time we thought there might even be all 3 major networks here covering the game tonight. Brady Southard throws the ball into the flat, and it is completed. That is number 23, Cole McFadden, making the catch at the 39-yard line. A gain of 12 and another first down. With the Hawks having a chance to showcase their team on more of a regional stage tonight, more so than usual. They're not doing a very good job of that thus far here as they're still looking for their first points. Southard throws that ball over to the left sideline. Intended for McFadden, incomplete, brings up 2nd down.
Yeah, we got quite a few just still cameras and camera crews, it looks like. So a lot of people having their eyes on the Hawks.
2:42 to go here, first half. Boy, just from the sheer standpoint of entertainment, I would love to see the Hawks hold Glacier Peak right now, right around here, because I want to see Spencer Pettit kick a long field goal tonight, or attempt a long field goal tonight. I believe it was during a game against Shorewood or Shorecrest earlier this year. I was watching film. He tried a 55-yarder that hit the upright and bounced off. He's got the leg as that one is thrown out to the left. Very similar to the last play. He was intending that one for Cole McFadden, incomplete. And all of a sudden we're looking at a 3rd and 10, and we're one incomplete pass away from a possible 55-yard field goal attempt.
We might see it here.
I've never seen a 55-yard field goal attempt at the high school level in person. I would love to see what that looks like.
Yes.
But first, they must get the stop, right? 4 receivers out on the field for Glacier Peak, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. They're going to throw the bubble screen here, incomplete. And let's see what Glacier Peak wants to do with 2:32 to go. 4th and 10, and then again, you've got Rory Rosenbach as your coach. He's always been a little bit of a riverboat gambler as far as coaching is concerned. He might just go for it.
I think he will. He seems to always have a little trick up his sleeve when he plays Mountlake Terrace.
And this is a guy a few years ago who I want to say when Mountlake Terrace was playing Glacier Peak, he's not a big fan of punting. I think there were a couple of plays one night when we watched a game up at Snohomish Veterans Stadium where He was going for it like on 4th and 8 at his own 30.
Yeah, I remember that.
This is not a guy who's fearful of 4th downs, that's for sure. And Southard looks down the field. He throws it in to the right-hand side and completes the ball to Guffey. Guffey cuts it back into the middle to the 5-yard line and is finally brought down right at the 5, a gain of 33. And that is a play the Hawks needed and just could not come up with the stop. And Glacier Peak is in business once again.
Just over the fingertips of Hopkins.
Give Southard a lot of credit, too. He was looking down the field. I think drew the defense into more of the middle of the field before he finally looked out to that left, into the left corner there where Guffey found a little seam and just got open and got 33 yards. Hand off to Ayala, and Ayala not going anywhere. Might have even lost a yard on that play. Clock now showing 2:02 to go here in the first half. Glacier Peak already up 15-0 and looking for more. We see Seaver Southard running into the game, number 14, the younger brother of quarterback Brady Southard. Southard looks to the left, throws it into the end zone. The ball is batted up into the air, incomplete. However, I think they're going to get Ryan Lacoste for a pass interference.
That or Riley Morin. I tell you what, that's 4 passes they've thrown towards Riley's way. They might have seen something in tape.
Or they might have remembered that second touchdown catch earlier, too, in which Guffey got right behind Riley on that slant for the second touchdown of the game. McFadden coming off limping right now. I've seen him as an intended receiver a handful of times on this drive. It was, in fact, pass interference. It's going to move the ball up to about the 2.5 yard line. 1:39 to go here in the half. Mountlake Terrace, they need a big stop right here. Remind everybody to stay tuned for the halftime show, the Action Jackson halftime show. Penalty flags are down. Noticing that I believe it's the junior Mountlake Terrace cheer squad warming up here, so we might even try to give them a little attention at halftime and showcase them once they're out on the field. So if you are a parent of one of those young ladies, stick around at halftime. You might get a chance to watch them dance on the Sound Alive Sports Network. And that's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called against Mountlake Terrace, which will be half the distance to the goal line, which from the 3-yard line isn't much, but still something you don't want to do if you're the Hawks right now.
I think that was called on one of the coaches.
Really? Did you ever get called as a coach for unsportsmanlike?
Maybe just once.
Just one? Really? Okay. We might have to talk about that in the second half. So 2nd and goal from about the 1.5 yard mark, and now we get another flag. Those yellow markers are falling all over the field here this drive. And this time the Hawks get called for offside. So a pass interference, an unsportsmanlike, and an offsides all within 3 consecutive snaps. And if you're Glacier Peak right now, you don't even need to take a snap. You just keep moving the ball based on these penalty flags, and you're now inside the 1 yard line.
Once again, you cannot do that against Glacier Peak, especially when you're down 15.
Clock continues to run here. 1:26 to go in the first half. Glacier Peak already up by 15, and they're looking for more. Southard under center. Pitches the ball. We've got another penalty marker down, and this time they are going to lose yardage. Very interesting call from the 1 yard line as Devin Wolhoff went in motion there, and it was kind of a strange long pitch, if you will. It wasn't even an option play as Southern just threw the ball backwards about 4 yards. And again, when you're on the 1 yard line and you're powering forward for all these yards, I don't know why you call that, but if you're a Hawk, I guess you'll take it.
You will take it if you're a Hawk, but yeah, right. If you're a Grizzly, I am a little confused by that call, especially when you have 2 power backs that the Grizzlies do have.
And that penalty was called against Glacier Peak. I believe it was an illegal shift. Hawks declining that penalty, is that right? I think you'd want to push them back 5 yards, but I guess this way they get to take the down as opposed to the yardage. So it's 3rd and goal from the 4 right now. Southern's going to hand this one off. Wolhoff looking for some space, fights his way towards the end zone and gets in. Touchdown Grizzlies. Devin Wolhoff, 5'8", 160-pound junior, finds the goal line and gives the Grizzlies a 21-0 lead with 55 seconds to go here in the first half.
That's one of those penalties come back to hurt you because he only got in by about 3 inches.
And that's all you need there. It's as a Wolhoff gives Glacier Peak the 3-touchdown lead, and Spencer Pettit looking to make that margin even greater. Kick is down. The ball is down. The kick is up, and it is good. And with 55 seconds to go here in the first half, Glacier Peak jumping out to a 22-0 lead. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again from Edmonds Stadium. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. And so far in the first half, it has been all Glacier Peak, jumping out to a 22-0 lead on the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. Hawks do not have a lot of time to get something going here before the end of the half. Keep in mind they do get the ball first to start the third quarter. So if you can get a big play or two right now, perhaps get into that end zone before the half, take that momentum into halftime and take the ball in the third quarter, and you might have something.
Yeah.
I'm asking a lot, aren't I?
You are asking a lot. But, you know, Terrace was down 13-0 going into halftime against Mariner, their opening game, and came back and won 14-13, so it can be done.
By the way, I was given this to read here. A reminder for those that are in the Mountlake Terrace community, the Take Chances Tour is happening tonight over at the Mountlake Terrace High School Theater. Derek Nelson, who I believe is from Glee fame, is that correct? Will be playing tonight, performing at 8 o'clock at Mountlake Terrace High School. As Ryan Lacoste fights his way to the 25-yard line before he's finally tackled. So, hey, watch the end of this game tonight. But then again, we don't want you leaving the game early. The Hawks have shown that they can win in dramatic fashion this year, so we've got some time. Wait for the game to end, and then perhaps head on over to the high school tonight. Watch Derek Nelson, national tour, I suppose, as he's playing Mountlake Terrace tonight.
They're backed up a truck full of equipment. They set up as a full-blown concert.
Oh, D'Angelo Camo's telling me they've set it up as a full-blown concert with equipment and the whole works, and that could be quite the show tonight. So, Jody, I don't want to get you too excited about it because I don't want you leaving here early to go watch the Take Chances tour with Derek Nelson, but something for you and the missus to consider later on tonight if you have nothing else going on.
I'll consider it, but as of right now, I'm waiting for Mountlake Terrace to make this comeback.
And the comeback's not happening here as the clock expires as the Hawks get down to the 29-yard line. And that is the end of the first half, and not the first half that the hometown team wanted, as Glacier Peak jumps out to a 22-0 lead. We're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we'll get you some stats and talk a little bit about what we can expect in the second half.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking?
You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mountlake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the Westco Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the Westco Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the Westco Conference.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to Edmonds Stadium. If you are a Hawks fan, not the game you were hoping for in the first half. Glacier Peak 22, Mountlake Terrace 0. You are watching the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show. Get you caught up on a few stats here. Overall stats, and as you can imagine, it is pretty much one-sided right now. It's all Glacier Peak in the first half. 255 yards of total offense versus 62 for Mountlake Terrace. 13 first downs for Glacier Peak, 4 for Mountlake Terrace. And a couple of the big stats here. Glacier Peak, 4 for 6 on converting third downs. They're 1 for 1 on converting fourth downs. Mountlake Terrace, on the other hand, they're 0 for 3 on third down conversions, and they're even worse, 0 for 2 on fourth down. And you're not going to win a lot of football games if you cannot win those stats right there. We mentioned it earlier, Justin Guffey with 2 touchdowns already tonight, and that's 2 touchdown passes for Brady Southard as well. Devin Wolford with the touchdown run. And leading the team so far for Glacier Peak, rushing-wise, Ian Black, 6 carries for 50 yards. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks, Ryan Lacoste, 6 carries for 22 yards. Malcolm Johnson, 6 carries for 34 yards. And there aren't much stats to report after that. And no completions yet for the Hawks tonight. So again, 22-0 is your score. We're going to take a quick break and come right back and get you caught up on some of the other happenings with the Mountlake Terrace Hawks football program. We've got a very special event coming up tomorrow night that we want to get you caught up to speed on, and hope to see some of you folks there. But again, don't go too far. This is a Hawks team that's shown some resiliency this year. This game is far from over. Your score at halftime, Glacier Peak 22, Mountlake Terrace 0. You are watching the Action Jackson halftime show on the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. By a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again from Edmonds Stadium, being joined by John Clippert, the Booster Club president, the football Booster Club president for Mountlake Terrace High School. And I think the first time we've ever had you on the air up here, right?
This is, Steve. Thank you.
Good times, right?
Always good times.
I won't ask you about the center quarterback snap, right? I shouldn't be doing that yet?
I have no answers for that either, so that's a good thing not to ask me.
John's son Drew is the starting center for the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, the 4-1 Mountlake Terrace Hawks. So as a parent, just get this right off the out of the way right off the bat. You've got to be pretty impressed with what you've seen so far this season.
So far the season's been fantastic. I mean, it's not what we wanted tonight so far, but there's still a lot of game left to go.
A lot of game left. In a worst case scenario tonight, whether it's 22-0 or 22-21, even a 4-2 start to the season.
4-2 start's a good way to start off the season. We got a couple of games left. We can still make a case for the rest of the season.
So we'll take that. But let's talk about a few other things going on right now. As the Booster Club president, and I'll toot your horn a little bit for you. You've done an outstanding job for the last few years, really. And well, first of all, what does the Booster Club president do, and why do you do it?
Well, it's everything we can try to do to support the team. We try to bring whatever shortfall, make up the shortfalls that we can for equipment,
And that's a good starting point, because I think a lot of the assumption is that, well, it's a public school and therefore everything's paid for, right?
Yeah, and it's not always paid for. I mean, there isn't money in the school budgets to cover everything that a football team might need. So we try to make up the shortfalls. Supplementing funds for helmets, for shoulder pads, for uniform stuff, for practice equipment, for cameras to film the games, for film study, for the website, for the Huddle account that we view film study with. So wherever we can try to make it, make ends meet, food and snacks, try to keep the kids energized during the game, give them a little meal before the game. Wherever we can, we try to help out.
And one of the things that you're doing to help out is the annual dinner auction that takes place tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Not too late for people to get involved, right?
It's not too late. I mean, you're welcome to go online and buy tickets right now at the Square Booster site through MTHS All Sports or MTHS SBC. You'll find it on Facebook. You can buy tickets there. Feel free to come to the door and buy tickets. Lake Ballinger Clubhouse, so 23000 Lakeview Drive in Mountlake Terrace. We start at 6. It's catered dinner from Galliano's Restaurant in SeaTac. It'll be great Italian dinner. A lot of great items to bid on. We got silent auction items. We have some live bid items that'll be, well, for me, a little unique. We have a bid item for up to 4 people to ride with the Seafair Pirates at their parade of choice. I mean, I've never seen that before. We've got a cabin stay up at Stevens Pass. We have a cottage stay at Loomy Island. We have a 55-inch flat screen TV. We got a lot of nice giveaways, a lot of nice donations that were provided for us. So it should be a fun night. We're hoping to raise some money. I mean, some of the other things we support, athletic need funds, Letterman jacket funds. We kick back to all sports boosters for different contributions to the school and athletes, for a lot of the other sports as well. So it's a good cause. Welcome everybody to come on out and take part.
And again, it's $30 for entry, and that does include your dinner.
Yep,
from
that's
Giuliano's, which is a nice dinner.
A couple of raffle tickets for some of the raffle items that we're giving away. Yeah.
And this is a 21 and over, I should point out. So we don't want the kids listening out there.
This is a 21 and over event. There's beer and wine service available, so we have that for you too if you want. But yeah, it's an adult function. And
I've been there the last couple of years, so I can vouch for it. It's a fun time.
It is a good time. We always make it a good event.
Yeah, even if you're not affiliated with the football program, we strongly encourage people to come out. Yes. And can they come to the door and pay for that too?
Absolutely.
If they don't want to go
You're
online?
welcome to come and buy tickets at the door as well.
So again, 6 to 10 tomorrow night.
6 to 10 tomorrow night. Like I said, starts at 6. Dinner's at 6:45. Lots of great items to bid on. Come on out and take part.
And a lot of fun people. Some other fundraisers that are coming up. Well, let's give a little bit of a plug to the Ford Company for helping out with an event last week.
Yeah, Pierre Auto Group, Ford Motor Company, came through for us last week. We did a drive one for the team event. I think we've raised over $4,000 on that one day event. That was was a good fundraiser for us as well.
And homecoming coming up next week. Do we have anything planned for that?
No,
we still working on
we
that?
do. We do have our annual homecoming barbecue event. So we'll be outside the gate grilling up burgers and dogs and selling meal baskets before the game for anybody that wants to come on by and hang out with other Terrace football boosters before the game starts.
And before the game, are you doing anything after the game for the start of the second game too, or is that to be determined?
Well, we'll leave that barbecue running as long as we can.
Okay.
For latecomers for our game and anybody early for the next game as well.
So get yourself a meal and support the football program both tomorrow night and next Friday before homecoming. Hey, John, you do a great job. I know it's a lot of time and effort, but it's certainly something that I know that everybody in the football community appreciates. You've certainly done a nice job to take it to the next level.
There's a lot of great people involved in the
Yeah.
booster. If you want, you're all welcome to come on out and join us as well. We have a good time. We take care of the kids and the team, and every bit of time we put in is worth the effort.
Perfect. Well, I'll let you get back to the game. You can go from being up here in the booth to being a dad again. Hoping for a better second half, but at any rate, again,
You and me both.
It's been a fun season so far, and we're not through yet. Either not tonight, and certainly not for the rest of the year.
No.
As Mountlake Terrace still has a chance to do
football left.
some historical things this year.
All right.
Cool. Well, thanks again,
Steve.
John. So again, John Clippard, your football booster president. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show right here on the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mountlake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
And we are back again at Edmonds Stadium. And there we go, Jody. We've got you tuned up now. just watching some of the extracurricular activities going on as the Hawks not able to get it done on the field, but off the field having a little more success as Tanner Munnis just came over to the sideline here and asked McKenna Hunt out to homecoming and got a little peck on the cheek, so I'm guessing she said yes.
Looked like she said yes.
For his sake, I hope so. And then Ryan Lacoste having the same success there as took some flowers over to his girlfriend who happens to be on the cheer squad. And so at the very least, they're getting homecoming dates tonight. Now they just need to get a victory or maybe start off with just getting some points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, let's have a good drive, go down and score a touchdown and get back in this game.
Now, you were joking with me a second ago. We were watching the guys ask their girlfriends out there with this. They had a couple of cheerleaders were holding up a sign for Tanner and McKenna, and you leaned over to me and you're like, coaches hate this stuff.
Yes. Well, we're in the locker room. We're trying to talk about what we're going to do the second half and look over and a player has a handful of roses. We realize that they're not focused as much as we would like for them to be on football. They're thinking about something else. So it is something that frustrates us, but at the same time we got to know that they're in high school and they have to they want to go to prom, they want to go to homecoming, and we got to let them do what high schoolers do. And
now that they've got the homecoming thing out of the way, if Tanner and Ryan can go out there with a big second half, we'll know that maybe it was for the best, and maybe we'll have everybody ask girlfriends out to homecoming next game, right? It would be a little late at that point.
It'll be a win-win.
There you go.
Coaches won't be upset anymore. We'll have a victory, and those two boys will be going to homecoming.
Nice. Well, homecoming is next week. It's against Linwood. It's the 5 p.m. game, so we encourage everybody to tune in for that. As we are awaiting the start of the second half here, and as we were talking on the air just a few minutes ago, Jody, when you stepped out of the room, not a good statistical first half either for Mountlake Terrace. 4 of 6 was Glacier Peak on third down conversions and 1 for 1 on fourth down. You add those two up, and they're 5 for 7 overall. That's a good recipe to get some points on the board and to win football games, and that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, if you're the Grizzlies, you're super excited about that. When it comes to third down, you don't have to be as stressed out, but for Terrace, you have to stop them. Third down is a down that you have to win. Now down 22 points, you most definitely have to win all of those third downs on the second half of the game.
And got the cheerleaders on the screen there right now. Good to give them a little attention. We've got the high school and the junior high squad out there right now, and the future and the current Hawks cheering their team on, and hopefully they can give them enough encouragement to pick up 22-plus points here in the second half, which is what they're going to need if they're going to win this football game.
And as Glacier Peak gets ready to kick off, you have to be ready if you're the front part of the line, because we know this coach always has a little razzle-dazzle up his sleeve. We saw that as he went for 2 right off the bat after the first touchdown.
And we also know he has a kicker who can put it out of the back of the end zone if he so chooses. And the way the offense has been a little lackluster so far, I wouldn't be surprised if you're Glacier Peak if you just tell Terrace, you know what? We're going to put the confidence and the faith in our defense. We're going to make you start on your own 20. But you're right. If anybody is willing to go for an onside kick at this stage in the ball game, it would be Rory Rosenbach. Here comes Spencer Pettit, and he does just that. He kicks that one deep into the corner of the end zone. Riley Morin not able to come up with it, and the Hawks will, in fact, start at their own 20. Mentioned it earlier, too. This is a pink out night. As you can see, cheerleaders with pink pom-poms. A lot of the students wearing pink tonight in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Even quite a few of the Hawks players wearing pink on their socks and other parts of their uniforms tonight. Justin Hopkins underneath center one more time. Lacoste goes in motion. Sweeps out to the right, cuts it back into the middle. He's still going to the 35, cuts it out to the 40, looking for the sideline along the right-hand side, passes midfield, and he's still on his feet to the 30 where he's finally dragged it down. Those homecoming flowers must have had something in them, because he just picked up 49 yards.
And that's what we're used to seeing from Ryan Lacoste. Keep the feet moving, keep the legs going. Don't let one person tackle you. And that was good for about 50.
They're going to spot him at the 32, so a gain of 48. Almost doubled the Hawks' yardage total for the entire game right there, as they only had 62 yards at the half. And that was good old-fashioned Ryan Lacoste there, cutting it back into the middle and then getting 15 yards down the field, cuts it out to the sideline, runs along the sideline, keeps his legs going, cuts it back into the middle, and finally picks up a 48-yard gain. This one's going to go to Malcolm Johnson, and he's got room along the right. Here, 5, touchdown, Mountlake Terrace.
2 plays, 80 yards. That's how you do it coming out of the halftime. Great blocking right there by Fife, number 15, leading the way for Malcolm Johnson.
2 plays, 80 yards, all on the ground from your top 2 backs. Ryan Lacoste, 48 yards. Malcolm Johnson, 32. Only 42 seconds tick off the clock here. This game is far from over, folks. Ivan Melkor trying a PAT for the first time tonight. It's been perfect on the year so far. Tanner Munnis gets the snap down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 11:18 showing left on that clock. Mountlake Terrace is on the board, and here they come. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
We have got ourselves a ball game here at Edmond Stadium. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks going 80 yards and on 2 plays at that. 42 seconds have ticked off of that clock, and there's plenty of football left here. The Hawks now trailing 22-7. And with now the momentum shifting, the Hawks needing a big defensive stop here as Ivan Melkor prepares to kick off here for the first time in the second half. Melkor boots that one away. Comes on down to the 6-yard line. That is Woolhoff right there with the ball. Woolhoff jumping through the air, comes down hard on the turf at the 27-yard line. Picks up 22 on the return, and the Grizzlies offense takes the field for the first time in the second half.
You know, the Glacier Peak Grizzlies kicker gets a lot of notoriety, which is well-deserved, but Mountlake Terrace has a pretty good kicker. He kind of came out of nowhere. I know Coach Willie recruited him from being a soccer player, and now here he is playing a little football.
Yeah, and a kicker that we didn't think we were going to need going into the year. We had Mikey Jensen, who's been kicking since his freshman year and kicking very well, I might add. And Mikey's still playing on defense here right now. He's your middle linebacker, but he's had a little bit of a groin issue at times, and it forced him to have to give up some of the kicking responsibilities over the last few weeks, and Melkor's come in and done a great job so far. Souther drops back to pass. He's going deep on this play. Jacob Walgren goes up for the potential interception and just has the ball pop out of his hands. But a nice job by Wally on defense there as he makes sure that Devin Green is not able to come up with that one. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 10.
That was a great defensive play by Wally. Kept his back to the sideline so he could see the play develop. Went up very high at the peak of the ball to catch it, but just couldn't come down with it.
And the Hawks definitely need a big stop here right now. I'm just noticing that number 21, Justin Guffey, who has 2 touchdowns already tonight for Glacier Peak, he's being helped to the locker room right now. It looked as though maybe 1 or 2 of his parents were helping him, assisting him as he was walking very gingerly into the locker room. And we'll keep an eye out for him, but he may not be coming back in this game, and that's certainly a weapon that the Grizzlies did not want to lose here in the second half. Going to throw the screen pass out to number 34. That's Ian Black. Black finding some room and gets his way forward to the 36-yard line where he's tackled. However, penalty flag comes in at the very end of the play as we wait to see what this is going to be. And judging by the way the referees are putting it down, it is in fact going to be a holding call. And a spot foul at that, so that's going to move that ball back to around the 21-yard line. So not the way Glacier Peak wanted to start the first half, as they seem to have everything going their way for the first 24 minutes of this ball game, and suddenly the winds have changed, so to speak.
It can't change quick. When momentum can change things, and if the Hawks can get a big stop here, we might see them get a little bit closer.
2nd and 17 coming up. 10:51 to go here in the third quarter. Brady Souther has Diego Ayala, number 44, in the backfield. He's going to throw this time, though. Over the middle. Incomplete, and that was almost intercepted.
2 plays back-to-back for the Hawks attacking the football.
And Daniel Johnson just did a nice job to step right in front of that ball. I don't think Southern ever saw him as he tried about an 8-yard slant pass there, and ball bounced way up into the air, and Jacob Walgren, if he had another second or so, might have been able to get under that for the interception. But at any rate, it brings up a 3rd and 17, and this is where the Hawks need to flex their muscles right now.
Yes, big third down right here.
They've given up big yardage on third down already tonight. They cannot do it on this play. They need a stop right now as they try to continue to get back into this ball game.
Once again, they have Black in the backfield, so keep an eye on him.
Ian Black, 5'9", 190.
And another penalty.
Delay of game against Glacier Peak. So now we're looking at a 3rd and 22 from their own 16-yard line. I think the Mountlake Terrace fans are sensing that this one's swinging a little bit now, too, as we hear the fans getting a little bit loud and chanting for the first time tonight. $10:39 to go here in the third quarter.
Be a good time for Billy Parkinson, number 56, to really step up. He's gotten in the backfield a few times, but just could not convert. Let's see if he can do it this time.
Yeah, Parkins is lined up to the left on this play, left end. They're going to throw a screen pass once again, and wow, that was almost a pick six. Tanner Munnis read that one perfectly, stepped right in front of that pass, and had he caught that one, he had a touchdown. As it is, he makes sure that Glacier Peak is still going to look at a 4th and long, but boy, would that have been nice.
He would have been untouched for a pick six.
Maybe McKenna will reconsider her homecoming. You never know. I doubt it. I think she's still okay with that. She's getting a lot of publicity here on the air. In the third quarter. Oh, and here we go. A bad snap on the punt. Pettit still gets it away. And Riley Morin calls the fair catch and drops the football. That is the luxury of having one of the better kickers in the nation right there. As Spencer Pettit had to chase that ball all the way back to his own end zone and on the run, kicked the ball some 50-plus yards in the air. Riley fumbles the ball at the 50 and then had to dive backwards to the 41 just to come up with it. And, boy, I'll tell you what, if you are Glacier Peak, you are happy, as that is a 43-yard net on that play, and that could have been a loss.
And those 2 points could have been huge, considering Glacier Peak got 2 points on their 2-point conversion.
Very good point. So 22-7, the Hawks trailing by 15. And Jody, you were telling me something off the air a minute ago. We're going to talk about that at the end of this play as Rutger goes in motion, and finally they give the ball to Malcolm Johnson, and Johnson barrels his way forward for a gain of about 7. And you noticed something on that first drive where the Hawks went 80 yards in 2 plays. What were you noticing as a coach?
Yeah, earlier they were running a wing T, so they have all the guys in the backfield, but they came out in a spread, and they have 2 receivers to the left, 1 receiver spread out wide to the right. And the way Hopkins has been throwing the ball the last couple of weeks, they got to respect that. And so those DBs had to move out a little bit, and then it just widened up the holes for right up the middle for Malcolm and Lacoste.
And that's what makes what Malcolm and Ryan have done even that much more amazing this year. As we're going to throw a pass here, a little hook and ladder there, and Ryan Lacoste has got the ball in the 30. He's got the sideline. Touchdown, Terrace. Unbelievable.
Terrace goes 3 plays for 2 plays for 80 yards and 4 plays for
or the fourth
50
play of
plays.
the offense, yeah.
Yes.
Unbelievable. That was just a good old-fashioned hook and ladder. Did you see who caught that ball? Was it?
Yes, it was Brady who caught it, and he pitched it right there to Lacoste.
Gabe Brady catches the ball out in the right flat with his back to the end zone, and Ryan Lacoste comes sweeping around. He pitches it to Ryan, and Ryan's got nothing but sideline. The Hawks are an extra point away from making this an 8-point ball game. Ivan Milkor with the kick. It is up, and it is good. We are less than 2.5 minutes into the third quarter. The Hawks have put up 14 points here to start the half. It is 14-22. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more.
Two minutes and 26 seconds into the second half, and the Mountlake Terrace Hawks have come out firing here. They've had 4 offensive plays thus far, and they've made the most of them. 131 yards, 121 yards of offense, and 2 touchdowns, more importantly. Hawks were trailing 22-0 at the half, and all of a sudden it's 22-14.
And that's a game changer right there. I mean, your momentum changes. You made those guys punt in their first possession, and now you just came back and hit them right in the mouth for 55 yards.
This is an exact reversal of what we saw in the first half as Milkor kicks the ball away, gets that one high up into the air. It's going to be fielded at about the 4-yard line. That's Wolhoff one more time. He looks for room along the left and is tackled from behind. Was that Colin Rutger?
It was.
Nicely done, Colin, as he runs down Wolhoff from behind there, and he gets him right around the 33-yard line and might have saved a lot of a much longer return at that.
Yeah, he had a little more room to go, so that was a great tackle by Colin.
So I was just saying, first half of action, Glacier Peak had the ball first, came down, scored, held Mountlake Terrace, and then on their second possession came down and scored, and before the Hawks could even touch the ball twice in the half, they were down 15-0. Very similar here in the second half. Mountlake Terrace has had the ball twice, scored both times, and sandwich in there a 3-and-out for the Hawks defense. And they've got the 14-point advantage here in the third quarter. Carter goes in motion, fakes the handoff, and they go up the middle, and Black has some room to run. He's still going. He gets to midfield, cuts it out to the right-hand side, and is finally pushed out of bounds. They're going to spot him at the 42-yard line, a gain of 25 yards. And if you ever needed a big play to kill some momentum, it's exactly what Glacier Peak gets there.
Same play. They've ran that play 4 times, and 4 times it's worked very well.
Give Ian Black a lot of credit there for finding some space up the middle initially and then finding even more space as he cuts the ball out to the sideline. Almost the exact same play. They fake the sweep and give it to Black up the middle, and Black once again picking up some nice yardage this time. Gets down to the 32-yard line. Very close to that first down marker as we wait to see what the referees are going to signal.
Once again, good hard running by number 34.
I think the refs are going to call an official timeout for a measurement here. So you're going to have to bring the chains all the way across the field on this one. So I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet, but a big football game on the college level tomorrow. Washington versus Cal. And for the first time in many, many years, us Mountlake Terrace Hawks fans get to watch one of our own, is Devontae Downs, a guy who I got a chance to call quite a few games for back in the 2012 season. Devontae doing a very nice job down at Cal Berkeley this year, and I think we're going to see him a lot tomorrow.
Yeah, he's doing a great job down there. You know, I had the opportunity to coach DJ for 4 years, And what an athlete, what a football player. And as a true freshman, he's down there playing linebacker and getting a lot of playing time. Even saw a little ESPN highlight of him where he got a sack. And, he's doing great. I've keep in touch with him via text, and he's liking it.
Very nice. And, hey, good for him, by the way. I mean, here's a kid who missed his entire senior year with a torn ACL before the season even started. To come back that quickly and to make that adjustment to the not only college level, but it's the Pac-12 at that, and to play really a brand new position for him, middle linebacker, and to get playing time his freshman year is outstanding.
Yes.
So they are going to say that was a first down. As Carter goes in motion one more time, and this time they give him the ball, and he finds nothing. Gabe Brady making his presence felt as he cuts Carter down in the backfield, a loss of 3 yards. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 13.
We talked about Mikey Jensen earlier, how he's been playing quite a bit and playing really well. Gabe Brady is a guy who, on the defensive side of the ball, has really stepped it up. The first 3 years I coached him, he was all offense, and now to see him playing defense is really nice.
And he's playing it very well. I mean, we've seen him make plays in the backfield like that one. We mentioned it earlier, a 57-yard interception last week. Had a huge interception against Edmonds Woodway. Southern's going to have to scramble this time. Breaks out of a couple of tacklers before finally getting forward to the 30. It's going to be a gain of 5, and it will bring up a 3rd and 8. And, yeah, you're right. Gabe Brady, a player who we're not used to seeing on that defensive side of the ball the last few years, has really kind of had to step up this year a little bit too, because plays the same position or a similar position as to what Michael Hunt was playing before he broke his leg first game of the year. So for Gabe to get out there on that field and to do what he's done this year, it's definitely been a huge asset for the Hawks on defense.
Yeah, he's stepped up nicely and filled the shoes of Hunt. That was a tough loss there, but I hear he's doing really well.
We certainly hope that Michael can get ready for the baseball season later on, as Southern's going to look to pass again. Almost intercepted. Mikey Jensen came close. And now we've got a decision for Glacier Peak right now, is looking at a 4th and 8. And guess who's coming onto the field? Number 12, the big leg of Spencer Pettit. This will be a 47-yard field goal attempt. And for those of you who are not used to watching the high school game, you do not see very many 47-yard field goal attempts at this level. You don't see a lot of those at the college level for that matter either.
Yeah, this guy's special, there's no doubt. But still, it's a long ways.
Lining up on the left hash. Kick is up. It's got the distance. It has plenty of distance right down the middle, and it is good. And that is a weapon right there. They call him the weapon, by the way. That's Spencer Pettit, and that is 3 more points. We're going to take a quick break. 7:28 to go here in the third quarter. Glacier Peak 15, Glacier Peak 25. It's wishful thinking. Mountlake Terrace 14. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students, to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
$7:28 to go here, third quarter. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. And Spencer Pettit showing that he is a weapon both as a field goal kicker and as a kickoff man, and puts that one out of the end zone. And Jody, as you just mentioned a moment ago, obviously you wanted to hold them to 0 on that play, but to hold them to 3 on that drive, not necessarily a bad thing.
Not a bad thing at all. The way Terrace has come out this second half, if they can put 7 more on the board in the third quarter, they will be right there where they want to be.
Well, if you tuned out for a while and you're just tuning back in, Mountlake Terrace has run 4 offensive plays in the second half so far. They've accumulated 121 yards and 2 touchdowns in those 4 plays. And Mountlake Terrace, I don't know if they didn't have the right personnel on the field or what the situation was there, but they're going to call a quick timeout. We'll keep it here for that one. And I don't know, did you see anything that was out of the ordinary for you?
No, I didn't. Maybe, I don't know if Coach Yalowicki saw something he didn't like, and so he just wanted to take a timeout, or he just needed to discuss something that they might have noticed earlier.
I should point out, too, we've mentioned a couple times tonight that this game will put one of these teams in the driver's seat for second place. So I guess the next question is, what does that mean? And, well, what that means is that if you finish in second place in this division, you automatically qualify for a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. You will still have to play a crossover game against a team from up on the Westco 3A North Division, their second place team at the end of the year. But that game is really, at that point, only for seeding. Correct. Both of those teams would make the playoffs. If you finish third place in this division, you have to play the third place team from that other division in 3 weeks, and the winner of that game moves on to the playoffs. The loser does not. The loser is done and does not make the playoffs. So Ryan Lacoste looking for some room around the right. Penalty flag is thrown. So really, if you win this game tonight, if you're Mountlake Terrace, and really depending on what happens with the Edmonds-Woodway game later on, you could actually clinch a second place. You could clinch the second place spot tonight. Mm-hmm. If you lose tonight, you still need to beat Linwood next week, and then depending on how things play out with Glacier Peak and Edmonds-Woodway, you could finish as high as a three-way tie for second place, which would be second, third, and fourth, which would mean we might have to have a playoff system in a couple of weeks during the week to determine who gets second, who gets third, and who gets fourth. Or it could also mean that depending on how things play out, you could end up in third place and have to play that crossover game for the playoff spot. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the most important games, I feel like, for Mountlake Terrace in a very long time. Probably about 4 years ago, they were on that same course where they had to win quite a few games to get in, and it's not necessarily get in as second, but you still want to win this game to hold that position to get into the playoffs, because that's your ultimate goal.
Yeah. For the last two seasons, both 2013 and 2012, the Hawks finished third place in this division, and therefore they had to play that crossover game to get into the playoffs. Fortunately for them, they were able to win both years. But it's that stress that you bring onto yourself, knowing that you have to win that game. Whereas if you win tonight, it's a little bit easier path for you. It's a much easier path for you.
Yeah, you can breathe a little bit.
Absolutely. Running play by Malcolm Johnson up the middle there. That was a penalty that was thrown against the Hawks the play before that. So we're looking at a 2nd and 18 right now for the Hawks with 6:56 to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, Terrace came out on fire the first part of this second half, but on this possession, they're going the opposite direction.
Opposite direction, both in terms of being stopped and pushing themselves back on penalties. Actually spot that on the 19-yard line, or 11-yard line, 2nd and 19. Hopkins is looking to pass on this one, throws it out into the right flat. Incomplete. It's Daniel Johnson, as we mentioned earlier, wearing the number 3 jersey tonight instead of his usual number 6. Couldn't quite come up with that catch, and that's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, hit him in the hands, juggled a little bit, but you got to bring that down, especially on 2nd and long.
And really, even if you bring that one down, he probably gets caught around the 15 or 16. So it would have been a short gain at that, but it still would have been a nice gain. Hawks looking at a 3rd and long right now. It'll be interesting to see what they call up on this play. Mentioned this is a team that doesn't throw the ball downfield very often. They might have to if they want to try to get to that first down marker at the 30-yard line. Hopkins drops back to pass. He's blitzed immediately. Scrambles out of it. He's going to throw it deep. Kind of a Hail Mary pass. Almost caught, or was it caught? They're going to say it hit the ground. Gabe Brady had that ball in his hands, juggled it on the way down to the ground, and I thought he might have come up with it before it hit the turf. The referee comes over and says he trapped it. And that was almost a spectacular catch by Brady that would have given the Hawks a first down.
Give Justin credit for getting out of that. He had about 3 Grizzlies around him, somehow breaks 3, and more like a Hail Mary that almost came through for him.
Yeah, give him a lot of credit, and then also give Brady a lot of credit to set himself up to make that catch. Positioned himself rather nicely between that football and the defender, and almost screened out the defense a little bit as Austin Bates comes on to punt. Ball is fielded at the 41-yard line and returned to around the 26. That was number 27, Matthew Darling, on the play. We'll take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit.
And here we are once again on the Sound Alive Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. That is Ian Black with the draw play right up the middle. Gets tackled at the 21-yard line for a gain of 6. Glacier Peak with a 25-14 lead. 5:55 to go here in the third quarter. And the Mountlake Terrace Hawks came out strong in the first few minutes, and now Glacier Peak taking back some of that momentum.
Well, especially the field position we just gave them. When you get the ball on your own 25-yard line, you're in good shape, especially if you got a kicker like they do.
Yeah, no kidding. Spencer Pettit kicking the 47-yard field goal a few moments ago and had about 10 yards to spare. Once again, they fake the sweep and hand off to Ian Black. Ian Black is still running into the end zone. Touchdown, Glacier Peak.
That same play, though, draw, giving it to him right up the gut.
Ian Black, 21-yard run right up the middle. And the Hawks, who cut this lead down to 8 points just a few minutes ago, have now given up the last 10, or last 9, I should say, with the 10th point potentially coming up right now. Is Matthew Darling set to hold? Spencer Pettit, a.k.a. the weapon, on to kick the extra point. It is up. It is good, and there's 10 straight points for Glacier Peak, and there is a 32-14 lead for the Grizzlies. 5:22 to go here in the third quarter. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students, to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And here we are once again on the Sound Alive Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. Glacier Peak running off 10 quick points. Building that lead back up once again. It is now 32-14. Ball is kicked into the end zone one more time, as this time Pettit hits it in front of the goal line. However, he line drives it so that it goes into the end zone, and once again another touchback, and Mountlake Terrace starting off from the very familiar spot on the 20-yard line.
Be interesting if they go to that same formation that they opened up with the 2 wides and the 1 wide on the other side, to see if they can spread out those Grizzlies again.
And they do not. They're going back to the wing T one more time. Austin Bates goes in motion. Lacoste on the left wing. Hand off to Malcolm Johnson, looking for room up the middle and not finding much. They're going to give him forward momentum to around the 22-yard line. He might have picked up 2 yards on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 8. Notice the number 27, Matthew Darling, coming off the field rather gingerly on that play, as he is being tended to on the sideline. It's a team that already has lost Justin Guffey for at least the time being, as we saw him go back to the locker room about 10 minutes ago. Remind everybody that we do have a second game here tonight. This is a doubleheader. 8 p.m. start, the Meadowdale Mavericks versus the Linwood Royals. Mavericks looking to clinch first place in the Wesco 3A South Division. Undefeated in league play so far. So they go into that game with a 4-0 record in league play, 4-1 overall. So I think Glacier Peak might have jumped on that play as we wait to see what the call is. And they are in fact, going to call Glacier Peak offsides.
That'll make it a little bit easier for Terrace. Looking at a second and about 3.
So plenty of time left for the time being, but certainly if you're the Hawks, you're down by 18, 4:34 to go in the half, or in the game rather, 4:34 to go in the third quarter. Let's try that for the third time. I'll get it eventually. It would be to your advantage to get that that deficit down by at least another touchdown before the quarter's over. And Hopkins is in trouble, and he's finally brought down at the 25-yard line as number 52, Logan Pillon, makes the tackle. It's going to be a loss for the Hawks, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 5 coming up. Only a loss of 2 yards on the play.
Well, I mean, it was a great play, but it's Terrace getting sacked.
3:53 to go here in the quarter.
So, I mean, just emotionally, it's the wrong team.
Hawks scoring the first 14 points of the third quarter. Glacier Peak scoring the last 10. Ryan Lacoste in motion. They're going to hand it to him. He goes around the right, cuts it back into the middle. Finds 4 yards up to the 30, but not enough for a first down, as he might be about a half of a yard short. And Jody Wallace, if you are Coach Umayam, do you give this any consideration right now at this point in the game?
Yes, I would give it a consideration. I mean, it's the third quarter. You're down by quite, at least 3 touchdowns or so. It's only a yard. You got Ryan Lacoste and you've got Malcolm Johnson. So I roll the dice and go for it. Although he is 0 for 2.
And this might be your ball game too. If you give Glacier Peak the ball at your 30-yard line, I think Coach Umayam might want to think about this one a little bit, as we are now going to get a Mountlake Terrace Hawks timeout, their second timeout already. So if you're the Hawks and you're trailing right now, you can't afford to burn those timeouts either, as we're showing a little bit more action from the sideline there, where once again the Mountlake Terrace Hawks cheerleaders and Herky are being joined by the junior Hawks tonight. This is what football is all about at the high school level. You want to, and I'm noticing that they're getting the fans involved as well right now, as you are a member of this community. Why not come out here on a Friday night, have some fun, watch football. Got a great band playing tonight. Got a lot. And Derek, that's right. Angelo Como reminds me once again, we're not through here if you're in the Mountlake Terrace area tonight. Derek Nelson from Glee fame, playing at the Mountlake Terrace High School Theater, 8 o'clock tonight. Not too late to get your tickets for that. It is his Take Chances tour. It's going on right now. I guess
Looks like that's what Mountlake Terrace is about to do.
Very nice segue there. They are taking many chances right now. Let's see if they can be as successful as Derek Nelson. He lined it up, going right up the middle to Malcolm Johnson, and he may have gotten it there. It depends on where they spot this one. If they give him forward momentum, I think he has it. And in fact, he does.
Yeah, remember it was a kick touchback, so all he had to do was touch that 30-yard line, and he'd be there. So he got it by a good 2 feet.
Very good point. He just needed that ball just to touch part of that white line, and fortunately he gets it over the line. So with 2:50 to go here in the third quarter, Hawks moving those chains. They've got a 1st and 10 right now. Going to hand this one off. That's Colin Rutger right there. Rutger taking the sweep around the left side and finds a little bit of room there as he cuts it back into the middle and gets ahead to the 36, a gain of 5.
Yeah, he had a little daylight there, and he took advantage of it. Got a good 6 yards, maybe 5.
And Rutger's a player who we haven't seen a whole lot of this year. We've seen him enter the ballgame a few times, but really hasn't had too many carries leading up to tonight. And you can tell with that speed, he definitely gives them a different look and another weapon. Rutger only with 2 carries going into the night this season.
And it looked like Hopkins drew him off sides again. That's going to be if it stays, it's a 1st down.
That doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but really a quarterback, when they pull that off, they should get credit for that. It's definitely a planned play there by Hopkins to try to get them off, and it's exactly what he did. It's going to leave the Hawks just a bit short of a 1st down. It's 3rd and maybe half of a yard. Or, I'm sorry, 2nd and half of a yard. So you've got a couple of cracks here. So 1:53 to go here in the third quarter. Hawks trailing 32-14. They need this drive right now as Austin Bates goes in motion, lines up along the right-hand side. Hand it off to Malcolm Johnson, and Malcolm Johnson gets forward for the first down and picks up a couple of yards on top of that as he gets down to the 44-yard line. Hawks are moving the chains once again.
Good hard run. Didn't stop after the first contact. Dragged about 3 players before he finally got tackled after 4 yards.
So clock continues to run here. 1:34 to go, third quarter. We've had some very, very nice weather this season so far. As I'm looking out, there's got a little bit of a sunset out in the distance. Hand that ball to Colin Rutker. Rutker's got some room to the 40. He could go all the way. 56 yards. Touchdown, Terrace. The double handoff. Colin Rutker showing some speed.
Great play call by Mike Yalowicki.
Mm-hmm. Just got done mentioning how Rutker didn't have very many carries on the year, and all of a sudden he just blows by everybody, and once he gets some open space, there's no catching him.
It's hard to catch that guy, and he proved it right there with a 55-yard run.
Yeah, I'm looking at here, going into the season, 2 carries for 3 yards. We mentioned that he did have a nice catch for a touchdown last week, a 40-yard reception. Got on the board last week through the air. This time he does it on the ground. Melkor puts the kick up. It is good, and with 1:12 to go here in the third quarter, 32-21, the Hawks cutting the lead down to 11. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the Westco Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the Westco Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the Westco Conference.
Welcome back to Edmond Stadium. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. And this game just continues to get more and more exciting, as that is number 23, Cole McFadden, taking the kickoff. Finds some room along the sideline, and he's got a lot of room. He's to the 50, to the 30. He will not be caught. No penalty markers on the field. The touchdown will stand. We get a very late penalty marker on the field.
Yep.
And that might be called against Glacier. And that might have been a clip that wasn't necessary, as he was already on his way to the end zone. The coaches are irate, and I don't think they're mad at the officials. I think they're mad at one of the players. McFadden had nothing but wide open space. He was on his way, and I think somebody threw a very unnecessary block about 20 yards away from that end zone, and that's going to come back, or at least a little ways. And Jody, as a coach, that has to drive you nuts.
Oh, yeah, when you got a guy like that, he's not even going to be touched. You can just stop what you're doing and be a spectator. You don't have to block anymore. You can just watch.
We've got a replay of that one here as well, as we're looking at it right now. Caught that ball around the 5-yard line. Cut over to the right-hand side. Let's see if we can see the clip. I'm guessing we will not. And McFadden just had nothing but space in front of him. And I'm going to call it a personal foul, so I don't know exactly what that means, if it was a clip or just a unnecessary block to a unprotected player. Either way, if somebody on Glacier Peak's team hit an Mountlake Terrace player completely unnecessarily and cost Glacier Peak 6 points. So the good news for the Hawks is that you didn't give up 6 points. The bad news is that Glacier Peak is, in fact, already on your side of the field. They're going to start this possession at the 40-yard line.
That could be a play that we need to remember because it could come back and haunt them.
Yeah, as the Hawks came into the second half down by 22. As of right now, they've cut the lead down in half. Going to throw a screen pass to Black. Black looking for space along the left sideline. A penalty marker is thrown. I have a feeling that one's going to be called against Glacier Peak as Black continues to fight to the 26-yard line. Unfortunately for him, that might be for naught as they are going to bring this one back. Yeah, so again, the Hawks down by 22 coming into the half. So far, they've outscored Glacier Peak 21-10 in the third quarter. And hey, when you're down by a large amount, you preach chipping away. Just take it one play at a time, one possession at a time. If the third quarter ends with an 11-point deficit, that's exactly what you wanted. You've gone from a 22-point deficit to 11, and you still have 12 minutes of play left.
Yeah, you're just chipping away, and that shows right there that the Hawks can chip away, and you still have the fourth quarter. They can get 21 points on the board then. They'll be in good shape.
So the ball is pushed back to the 45-yard line. 1st and 15 coming up for the Grizzlies.
Watch that draw.
Carter in motion, and in fact, they're going to give it to Carter this time. He's sweeping around to the right, still looking for room, and is brought down rather nicely as that is, I believe, number 8, Ryan Lacoste making the tackle, saving Carter from what might have been a much larger gain. Does pick up 7, however, and that's going to bring up a 2nd and 8. Clock now showing 15 seconds to go. If Glacier Peak chooses, they do not have to run another play. We'll see what they elect to do right now. Clock is now down to 6. Southern in shotgun formation. Carter goes in motion. Fake the handoff to Carter and go right up the middle to Black. Black fights forward to about the 31. He might be about a yard short. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short. And that is the end of the third quarter. And an exciting one at that. 31 points put up on the board combined between these two teams. 21 of those points coming for the Hawks. It's 32-21, and we've got 12 minutes left. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Well, here we go. 12 minutes to go here as we start the fourth quarter. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network presented by Shoreline Community College. 3rd and 1 coming up, and Brady Southard, the quarterback, decides to take care of this one himself as he puts his shoulder down and barrels over a Hawk as he gets down to the 20, and we get a very late flag at the end of that play. And that might be a personal foul potentially against Southard or one of the linemen maybe, as I have a feeling one of the Grizzlies might have done a little taunting at the end of that play.
Yeah, I couldn't tell who it was. I thought it was Gabe Brady that had him in the backfield, I thought, for a second, but then the quarterback was able to escape. It's a big call right here because considering it was 3rd down and 2.
And it is after the play. However, high school, they do not give you – in college and pro, you'd get the first down, and then they would tack on the personal foul at the end of the play. In high school, they don't give you the actual first down yet, so it's going to be 3rd and long now.
Okay.
So they give him the yardage from to where he ran, but then they move him back 15 yards after that. So essentially, what he picked up started that play on the 31-yard line. He ran it down to the 20, so he picked up 11, but then he moved back 15 yards afterwards. So it is a 4-yard loss net on the play for Glacier Peak.
Another big, huge third down.
Yeah, and so instead of 3rd and 1 a moment ago, now you have 3rd and 5. Not only that, but now they're having trouble getting a play in as Brady Southard, the quarterback, looking towards the sideline. 11:54 to go here in the game. And oh, by the way, if you decide to kick a field goal, if you don't get any yardage here.
Oh, they just changed it to first down.
Did they give him a first down now? It's not the way they've been doing it earlier this year, but okay, they're going to give him a first down. So 1st and 10 on the 36. Hawks need a big stop here right now. 11:45 to go. Carter in motion. They fake to him. They hand off up the middle once again to Ian Black. Seen that play a handful of times tonight, and Black once again making positive yardage out of it as he gets to the 33-yard line. Picked up about 3 on that play. Miles Allen and Austin Bates making the tackle.
Grizzlies don't seem to be in any hurry. It's the 4th quarter, and they're up by 11, slowing it down a little bit.
Smart move on their part. If you've got an 11-point lead and you have the ball, might as well eat up some of that clock as they're going to give it to Carter as he sweeps out to the right and loses yardage as Riley Morin steps up and makes a nice tackle. Penalty marker is down, however, so we'll wait to see what that call is.
Coming from that back, Judge, probably going to be a holding.
If you're the Hawks here, you look like about a 3-yard loss on that play. Do you take the penalty or do you take the 3-yard loss?
I think I'm going to decline that, but it looks like Coach U is pushing them back.
Yeah. Well, and quite frankly, we're right around that part of the field where Spencer Pettit can hit these field goals from here, and every point counts right now. Maybe Coach Umayim is figuring that if he can push him back 10 yards, take him out of field goal range, and hope to get a stop here in the next 2 plays.
The last few times they've had long yards, like 2nd and 20, they've been going right up the middle with number 34. See if they do that again.
Yeah, 34 being Ian Black, as he is once again lined up in the backfield. Seen this play plenty of times tonight where somebody goes in motion. This time I think they're just going to do good old-fashioned football here as they've got 4 receiver sets. Nobody's in motion as of yet. Southern looking towards the sideline as perhaps they're changing the play. Takes the snap, looking downfield. This is going to be a pass. He throws it over the middle. Incomplete as Gabe Brady, I think, got his hand on that one. And just for good measure, Ryan Lacoste puts a little hit on Cole McFadden. Between those 2 defensive players, they make sure that McFadden cannot come up with that ball. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 20 right now for Glacier Peak.
Another big 3rd down. Great play by Brady just to get his hands up, tip that ball, knock it off course just a little bit so the receiver can't grab it.
And we talked about Brady a little bit earlier on defense. This is a guy who doesn't necessarily line up in a 3-point stance, but certainly he lines up along that defensive line at times. So for him, I mean, we've seen him in the backfield. We've seen him rushing the quarterback. We see him drop back into pass coverage. He's doing a little bit of it all right now as Black takes another draw play up the middle, and once again he picks up some good yardage. He's going to get 7 yards on that carry, and that's going to bring up a 4th and 13.
And here comes number 12.
Are they going to kick a field goal from here? Or is this a punt? They're on the 39-yard line. That's about a 56-yard field goal. I'd love to see it.
And they're lining up for it. But I tell you what, as a Terrace defensive player, you got to be ready for a fake right here. This is a long field goal. I know he's got the leg.
I've never seen a 56-yard field goal in a high school football game, not in person anyway. This is good stuff right here. Notice even the entire Meadowdale team is watching this one from the end zone. The kick is up, and it is well short. No good as it hits the back of the end zone line there. It was wide right anyway. So we're going to get a change of possession. We'll take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger. And thank you for watching.
later.
And here we are, the Hawks with the ball again, 9:47 to go. They're going to throw it from the tailback position. Making the catch is Austin Bates to the 45-yard line. And we've got a little bit of a scuffle going on down here, and I'm not sure who they're going to call that on, as Malcolm Johnson along with number 13, Brandon Jensen, getting into it in the backfield. We're going to see which one of those two players, or maybe they'll call it offsetting, but the Hawks getting a completion on that play. Was that Lacoste that threw that ball?
Lacoste threw it, a little halfback pass. He is the backup quarterback.
Very true, and he gets that one ahead to Bates. Bates coming down with the ball for a 27-yard gain, but the players seem to be walking back towards the line of scrimmage. This one might be coming back and going against the Hawks.
Malcolm Johnson in a little scuffle back there. Could be offsetting.
I mean, at this point in the ball game, every yard, every play counts, especially if you're the team down by 11. And they are, in fact, going to call personal foul against both players.
Offsetting, but you got to redo that great play. Coach Yalowicki calling up another great play, catching the guys, catching the DB sleeping back here, and Austin Bates with a great grab.
Boy, it's offsetting, but it's really not. It's a 27-yard gain. And when two players from different teams get called for the penalty, it's as though the play never happened. So if you're the Hawks, you're really the one that comes out on the losing end of that, not Glacier Peak. And the referees are still having a conference about this play right now. And that is unfortunate, as the Hawks right now down by 11. To have that ball up near midfield would have been huge.
I know the Hawks scored quick at the opening of the half, but 9 minutes left, down by 2 scores. You got to start thinking about that clock.
Yeah. This is a team that put up, unofficially, I had them down at 209 yards of offense in the third quarter alone. So we know they've got some explosiveness to them. But, again, you don't have a chance right now to have 8, 10 play drives. You need something, and you need something fast. And even at that, you need your defense to hold. So this is big right now. And once again, for the second straight play, we're looking at 1st and 10 from the 20. This time they're going to hand the ball to Lacoste. He's looking for room along the left. Runs hard as he gets tackled at the 24-yard line, a gain of 4. That will bring up a 2nd and 6. Yeah, how many more tricks do you have in your book there? You've thrown the halfback pass. You've done a hook and ladder. You've done the double handoff. I mean, at some point, Glacier Peak's waiting for these now, right?
Unless you can keep keeping them on their toes.
And also it's just more variations that Glacier Peak has to be wondering about. If you're the Grizzlies and after that first half you thought you pretty much just had to, watch for the dive plays and watch for the sweep plays, but now you've got 4 or 5 other things to worry about, and you know that Mountlake Terrace has those in the repertoire. It spreads out the defense a little bit, so we'll see what the Hawks do here. They've got 2 receivers set out to the right, and a penalty marker is thrown. Delay of game against Mountlake Terrace as they continue to shoot themselves in the foot here on this drive. You just took the 5-yard gain by Lacoste off the board there, as it just moves you back to the original line of scrimmage. .8:24 to go here in the game. Hawks trailing by 11. Seen the Hawks score twice in the third quarter on 2 play drives, so we know that they're capable of doing it. In other words, don't go too far yet, folks. Throw that ball out to Daniel Johnson. Johnson gets ahead to around the 26-yard line. Call that a gain of 6, and that will bring up maybe even a gain of 7. That'll bring up a 3rd and 3. And one nice thing about that play, Johnson gets out of bounds and stops the clock with 8:02. Ian Black in on the tackle on that play. We've called his name plenty tonight on offense, and this time he gets a little bit of defensive love. We give that one to Johnson. Johnson goes right up the middle, and Johnson goes forward for another first down.
That was another power run by Johnson, and a good run considering it's 3rd down, deep in your own territory. Got to keep the chains moving.
And that's exactly what he does there with 7:53 to go. So you need 2 scores in order to have a chance to win. You've got a little under 8 minutes to go. As a coach, you're not panicking yet, right? You need to keep running your usual sets and your usual offense. You don't want to get...
Yeah, you got to stay calm. You don't want to panic. You know you have the ability to score quick. But do you have the ability to score quick multiple times?
Look at Hopkins is scrambling, and he's finally going to get brought down at the 26-yard line. A loss of 7 yards on the play. Hopkins was able to elude the first couple of tacklers, but at that point, there were more to follow, and gets tackled by 3 or 4 guys on the end of that play, and that's going to be a 7-yard loss, and that is exactly what the Hawks did not need. As the clock continues to run with 7:08 to go in the game. So twin brother Josh lined up to the far right. Daniel Johnson lined up in the flanker position. Malcolm Johnson in the backfield. Fake the hand up to Malcolm, and they get blitzed once again, and a fumble at the end of the play. Not sure if the referees are going to mark that one down or not. They do. Andrew McCoy, the linebacker, 6'1", 195-pound junior, shooting through the gap on that play and takes Hopkins down for a loss of 6 yards, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 22 now for the Hawks.
3rd and 22, deep in your own end zone. I don't know if Coach Yalowicki has a good play for 3rd and 22 on your own 21.
We're about to find out. He stays in that same offense he's been running here the last couple of plays. 2 receivers out to the right. He's got a wing out to the left. It is Lacoste going in motion. Hopkins is going to throw a screen pass out to the left-hand side. Getting forward and still running for the first down. Is that Austin Bates? It is. Bates continues to fight his way down to the 30, to the 25. He's not done fighting yet. Finally gets down to the 20-yard line. A gain of 59 yards and a huge first down.
Well, I said I don't know if Coach Yalowicki has a play for 3rd and 22 on your own 19 or so, but he did. That was an amazing play call. Austin Bates was not going to go down. You can tell he's been working out in the weight room.
Working out on the weight room, and he looks like he's been working out on the track, too, as that was some nice running. You had all 3 of your receivers out to the right, or you had a 2 receiver set out to the right. You sent Lacoste in motion to add a 3rd receiver out there, and then you throw the screen play out to the left where it's Austin Bates and a handful of blockers, and the guy they call Fife made it happen on that play. He gets 59 yards. Here comes Ryan Lacoste up the middle, inside the 15-yard line, down to the 13. And with 5:28 to go here in the game, the Hawks are threatening.
Gain of 6.
Chipping away. 5:16 to go. The Hawks are down by 11. This is a team that trailed by as many as 22 at the half. Looking to make this a single-digit game here if they can get into the end zone. Hopkins looks over to the left. Ball is tipped and is almost intercepted. That was close. Andrew McCoy, number 8. We called his name just a few minutes ago. Does a nice job to get his hands up on that ball and bats it into the air where a couple of Grizzly players had a shot at it. Fortunately for the Hawks, lands on the ground and they get another try at this one with 3rd and 4 coming up.
Yeah, that was a close call. I thought I heard a couple of from the crowd. You can tell they're into it.
That might have been us up here as well. So I think we all breathed a collective sigh of relief on that play. 3 running backs in the backfield this time. Handoff goes to Lacoste. Lacoste breaks through a couple of tacklers, gets forward to the 6-yard line. We're going to spot him down at the 8. Picks up the first down, and the Hawks looking at a 1st and goal with 4:48 remaining on that clock.
That's the Ryan Lacoste we're used to seeing right there. Keeps his feet moving, just doesn't want to go down, fighting for every inch.
Clock continuing to run. We're looking at 4:41 as it continues to tick here. In Glacier Peak, a little bit of confusion here as I think they might have just called a timeout. Seen a lot of whistles, but not any penalty flags. And they are, in fact, going to call a timeout. We're going to keep it right here. We don't want to miss anything. There's 8:36 showing on the clock. Hawks trailing by 11. However, they've got first and goal on the 8-yard line.
With 4:36 left, if they can punch this in, they've got a shot, but at the same time, we got to remember they had to burn 2 timeouts, so they can't really stop the clock very much. So they need to punch this in to have some time left to stop Glacier Peak, make them 3 and punt, and see if they can go in for the game-winning drive.
Well, knowing that you need a fairly quick score, we don't need to be in the next 10 or 15 seconds, but you don't want to burn any more clock than you have to. And also knowing that your bread and butter is your ground game, does it change the way that you think about calling plays right now in terms of, obviously, if you run a play and get tackled before you get in the end zone, you burn a good 20 or 30 seconds off each time. If you're Coach Umayam and if you're Coach Yalowicki, are you looking to maybe put the ball up in the air, or do you stick with what you do best?
You're first down, 8 yards to go. I think you're going to give it to Lacoste. You're going to give it to Malcolm Johnson. And if it takes a couple of plays and if it takes a couple of seconds, you're just going to do that. I don't think you're going to give Glacier Peak a chance to pick one off.
We'll see what they've got here. 2 receivers lined out to the left. It's Gabe Brady, far side. He's got Daniel Johnson at the flanker position. Malcolm Johnson lined up on that left wing. Lacoste goes in motion. They hand off to him. Lacoste looking for some room along the left, trying to find some space along the sidelines. Realizes he doesn't have much and wisely gets out of bounds after maybe picking up, we'll call it 2 yards, as they appear to be spotting it at the 6-yard line. 4:27 left, and the best part about that play from the Terrace Hawks standpoint is that Ryan got out of bounds.
Yeah, that was a great heads-up play. Get a couple yards, then get out of bounds.
You're lined up on the left hash right now. A lot of open space here on the right-hand side. It will be interesting to see what Terrace does. Austin Bates goes in motion, lines up in the tight end position on the left side. They're going to go right up the middle looking for some smash mouth power football. Not a lot of room as Malcolm Johnson picks up about 2 yards on that play. They're going to spot him just a little short of that 3-yard line as 3rd and goal is coming up here, and the clock now continues to run. Actually, they've stopped the clock right now. Did Mountlake Terrace just call their last timeout? Or potentially an injury timeout? I'm not sure. Heard the PA announcer say officials timeout, but I'm not sure what that would be for. Scoreboard still showing 1 timeout left for Mountlake Terrace.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Clock now is set back in motion, so it in fact was not a timeout for the Hawks. Ball is spotted on the 4-yard line. 3:59 left in this game. Hawks trailing by 11. This is 4-down territory. If they don't get in on this play, they're going to have to run another. Hand the ball off to Lacoste. Lacoste trying to find some room.
He punches
Lacoste
it in.
punches it in. Touchdown, Terrace. 3:44 left in this ball game. 32-27. And if you're the Hawks, you got to go for 2 here and make it a 3-point game. Let's see what they've got. We have a 2-point conversion coming up, and if Mountlake Terrace can get this one into the end zone, this game is a field goal away from being a tie at that point. Not a lot of time left, but certainly enough time for the Hawks to stop Glacier Peak and get the ball back. Malcolm Johnson in the backfield. Gabe Brady lined out to the right. Wing T formation. They give it to Lacoste. Lacoste looking for room. Initially gets stopped. Fights his way forward. Can he get in? Lunges towards that pylon. I don't think he got it. He is, in fact, short, so that is going to make this a 5-point game. But the 5-point game is something the Hawks will gladly take right now as they were down by 22 at the half. We're going to take a quick break. Do not go anywhere. We have an exciting finish coming up. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com. And here we go, folks. We mentioned at halftime not to go too far as this Mountlake Terrace Hawks team was resilient. They've been so all season long, and after trailing 22-0, they're going to try an onside kick. We got whistles here as there's a penalty marker down, and I'm guessing the Hawks might have been offsides on that play.
Mm.
3:44 left. In fact, the Hawks were offside, so did you show your hand a little too much there? Do they know you're coming with an onside kick now, or do you maybe decide to kick it away now?
Well, now I kick it away, but not very far, because look how far their number one is. He's on the goal line. If you could do a little pooch kick really high, you'll have a chance to fight for it.
Yeah, 10 of your 11 players for Glacier Peak are within about a 5-yard range there. As Glacier Peak does a nice job to come up with that onside kick. As number 23, Cole McFadden, securing that ball and giving Glacier Peak very nice field position at the 46-yard line of Mountlake Terrace. Well, if you're the Hawks, you know what you got to do right now. You need to stop them on defense. Keep in mind, you've got one of the best kickers in the nation playing for this Glacier Peak team, so you really might be only 10 or 12 yards away from being in field goal range again and having a chance to make it an 8-point game.
And that's where that 2-point conversion miss comes up hard, because be down by 7 instead of 8. But let's see, 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Plenty of time to hold them.
And here we go. 2 receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. Carter goes in motion. They're going to give the draw play right up the middle. Ayala does a nice job to make something out of nothing. The Hawks look to have had it bottled up there briefly. Ayala still able to get forward for 4 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and 6. Austin Bates making the tackle there. 32-27. We talked about it coming into the night, how we thought this was going to be a great football game. And it has been. Not quite the way we thought it was going to be going down initially. I thought it was going to be close from start to finish. It's been the tale of 2 halves, though, as Glacier Peak came out and outscored Mountlake Terrace 22-0 in the first half. Hawks have outscored Glacier Peak 27-10 in the second, but it might be too late now as Ayala takes a handoff, gets about, we'll call it 2 yards, maybe closer to 3 as he gets tackled at the 39. Brings up a 3rd and 3, and the Mountlake Terrace Hawks are going to use their final timeout of the night. Actually, they're going to spot him about 4 yards short of the first down marker. So really, I wouldn't call this the game yet, but with 2:50 to go, if Glacier Peak converts this first down, Mountlake Terrace is not going to have a chance to get the ball back. If at all, they would get it back with very few seconds remaining, and they would have to go the distance of the field, essentially. You need to come up with 2 big stops here.
Yeah, you gotta bring the house. I think make them if they're going to run the ball, you got to have everyone there. And if they're going to maybe go a little play action, try to sneak in a pass, you got to have some people in the quarterback's face.
So here we go, 3rd and 4. Glacier Peak, this might be 4-down territory for them, trying to run that clock out. I don't know if punting the ball away would do much for them, so they might just try to take 2 shots at getting a first down.
If I'm the Hawk defense, I'm having 2 people on number 34 at all times. 3rd down, my bet's he's getting the ball.
Okay, Ian Black, and if you're the Hawks, you do not want to jump off sides here either. That would give them an automatic first down. Whistles blow, and I think that might have been on Glacier Peak. If it's not, the Hawks are in trouble. Thought I saw some movement on the right side of the line. And in fact, that is against Glacier Peak. False start.
Oh, yeah.
3rd and 4 becomes 3rd and 9.
Same play. They were going to right up the gut to number 34, Black again, but false start, moving them back.
2:48 remaining, 32-27. Brady Southard, the quarterback, looking over towards the sideline. Getting the plays here. Once again, this game is for second place tonight. And it is coming down to a dramatic finish, even more so if the Hawks can come up with a stop here. Carter goes in motion one more time. They fake the handoff. They're going to throw it over the middle. Incomplete. Ball was intended for number 15, Devin Green. A very surprising call because, one, it brings a fourth down, but two, you stop the clock by throwing an incomplete pass.
Yeah, I don't understand that play. Unless he's just trying to catch the Hawks off guard. Going into punt.
Spencer Pettit, the field goal kicker, who's also the punter, dropping back into punt formation. And essentially what Glacier Peak is telling their defense is, you know what, we're going to put it on you guys now. Let's pin the Hawks back and make them drive the length of the field to try to win this ball game with 2:46 to go. Pettit kicks that ball down to the 10-yard line. Let's see if Riley Morin tries to field it. He does. He takes it on the 6. Looks for room along the left. He's got a couple of blockers. Can he find some space? He's to the 20, to the 30. Riley Morin is still running to the 50, the 40. No penalty markers down. Morin is still running to the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Terrace. Mountlake Terrace Hawks with a 94-yard punt return. Take the lead. Wow.
We do have a Glacier Peak player down on the kickoff, on the punt return. He got hit pretty hard. He's still down, but Riley Morin takes it to the house. The Hawks take the lead. They're up by 1 with 2 minutes and 21 seconds to go. Remember, this is for second place. This is for a playoff berth.
This might be the biggest game in the school's regular season history.
A 95-yard punt return.
You can hear the fans are even getting into this now. The Hawks are up 33-32. We do still have a Glacier Peak player hurt and injured. Riley Morin takes the ball on a couple of bounces, by the way, at the 6-yard line along the right sideline, and it was almost as though they set up a wall for him. He starts to run. He runs east-west straight towards the other sideline, picks up a couple of blocks as he gets the corner, and then just finds open space and keeps running for 94 yards. And
Coach Willie, the special teams coordinator, he will set that up. He'll tell the players to either go right or left, and there's a special call for that. And he must have had it called left, and he took it left and then went right up the sidelines. 95 yards for a go-ahead score, 33-32 by Riley Morin.
And we can't say it enough. Glacier Peak, one of the best kickers in the country. You need this 2-point conversion right now to make it a 3-point game. If you give Glacier Peak the ball back with 2:21 to go and you're only up by 1, Spencer Pettit can win this game rather quickly and doesn't have to be that far out to do it.
And he's already hit a 46-yarder.
Yeah, and with plenty of room to spare, I might add. So 2:21 left in this game. Hawks taking their first lead of the night after trailing 22-0 at halftime. 3 running backs lined up behind Hopkins. Hand the ball up to Lacoste, and Lacoste is stopped. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks defense is going to have to come up big now. Glacier Peak with 2 timeouts left. We're going to take a quick break. You do not want to go anywhere. Hawks 33, Glacier Peak 32. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
The announcing.
Here we go, 33-32. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks have outscored Glacier Peak 33-10 in the second half alone. And thanks to a 94-yard punt return by Riley Morin, the Hawks now with a 1-point lead. Ball bounces along the turf there and is finally fielded. And they're not going to return that one very far. That was Cole McFadden taking the ball on about just inside the 10-yard line. Gets it back to the 21. Glacier Peak 79 yards away from the end zone. They're about 45 yards away from probably putting themselves within Spencer Pettit's field goal range, and they've got 2:17 to do it.
Yeah, it's not time to sit back and do prevent defense. You got to come after the quarterback. You got to come after the running back, and you cannot let them move the ball.
The good news is you're up by 1. The bad news is you're playing the team that inevitably has the best kicker in the state and one of the best kickers in the nation. And they're just trying to get the ball downfield far enough for him to potentially win this game for Glacier Peak. Southard's going to throw this one, throws it a bit high, incomplete. Number 21 back on the field. It's Justin Guffey, who we saw going into the locker room in the third quarter. Apparently Guffey's okay now as he's out there. And who put the hit on him? Riley Morin.
Riley Morin is playing the game of his life once again, actually the season of his life. He has just been all over the field tonight on offense, defense, and special teams.
2:13 left, 2nd and 10 coming up. Be curious to see if Glacier Peak changes their strategy now. They've been running that draw play all night. They certainly have a lot of time left. If you're the Grizzlies and you're the offensive coordinator, you don't have to be that rushed just yet. Southern's going to put it up in the air one more time. This time he completes it to Guffey. Guffey gets pushed out on around the 29-yard line. He picks up 7, brings up a 3rd and 3. Only 6 seconds ticking off the clock there as we're now looking at 2:07 to go.
Yeah, if you're a Mountlake Terrace fan, earlier you were thinking, oh, we don't have enough time. Now we're thinking, oh, there's too much time.
2:07 left. This might be the longest 2 minutes and 7 seconds of these young players' lives, and maybe some of us for that matter as well. As Southern's going to throw a screen pass, completes it.
Keep him in bounds.
He gets out of bounds, but more importantly, if you're Glacier Peak, Black picks up the first down on that play, gets shoved out at the 34, a gain of 5, and nice clock management. They're not eating up much time at all right now. 2 minutes left even right now as the Hawks lead 33-32. First and 10, Brady Southard looking at his play sheet on his arm wrist. He's got trips out to the right. Black in the backfield with him. Looking to the left to throw it. Incomplete. Jacob Walgren with the defense there as Cole McFadden was the intended receiver. And 4 more seconds go off the clock.
Austin Bates getting a little pressure in there. He slowed down just a little bit, got his hands up, and that might have made the quarterback throw a little bit high.
2nd and 10 coming up. Gotta think this might be the draw play right now. This is where we've seen time and time again Southern take the snap and hand to Black. No, he's going to throw it one more time. Over the middle, the ball's popped into the air. It's intercepted. Taking the ball back to the 33-yard line. I'm not sure who that was.
Ryan Lacoste.
Was that and there's a penalty marker late. That might be taunting. Either way, it's going to be the Mountlake Terrace ball. Now keep in mind there are 2 timeouts left for Glacier Peak. This game is not over. Woo!
The ball was tipped. I don't know who it was tipped by, but Ryan Lacoste grabbed it, wanted to take it to the house, got down, and there is a penalty flag down, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Mountlake Terrace's football.
And we're about to see that play over again on our screen here in just a moment. We won't be able to show this to our viewing audience, but you and I will be able to watch it here. YouTube has instant replay. You can back up on YouTube. Well, and I guess YouTube does have instant replay. I'm not sure that ball was actually tipped. I think it just ricocheted out of a Glacier Peak wide receiver's hands up into the air, and Lacoste picks it off.
So once again, though, Brady right there by the receiver to make it difficult for him.
So 1:48 left. Personal foul goes against Glacier Peak. Or did they call it offsetting? They did call it on both two players. So
don't forget, at the beginning of the game, we had a lot of snap problems. This is not the time to have the snap problem. You got to make sure to hold on to the ball.
And so with 1:48 to go, again, keep in mind Glacier Peak can call 2 timeouts. So if Mountlake Terrace decides to take a knee or just run this ball, Glacier Peak, if they can hold the Hawks from getting a first down, they could potentially still get this ball back. They're going to get it back with a lot less time, but they can, in fact, get it back. I don't think if you're Mountlake Terrace you want to take a knee just yet. The Hawks are in somewhat of a victory formation. Let's see if they try to run it here. And they fumble the snap. Did they get it? Glacier Peak might have gotten the ball back.
And I just talked about that right before they snapped it.
Unbelievable. 1:48 to go. All you have to do is run the clock down and you give the ball back to Glacier Peak. Clock did tick 10 seconds off, so it's 1:38 to go now. What an exciting game, to say the least, for both teams. Not what you wanted if you're the Hawks. And just when you thought you had victory within your grasp, you just gave Glacier Peak the ball back at their own 34-yard line. "98 ticks showing up on that clock right now. Glacier Peak realistically about 30 yards away from putting Spencer Pettit within field goal range. They still have 2 timeouts remaining. Southern's going to look to pass on this play. Completes the ball to the 40-yard line. Guffey makes the catch. I believe that was Riley Morton that made the tackle.
Yeah, Riley there on the tackle. Again, I tell you what, they're running quick stops over there. I wouldn't be surprised if they run a stop and go, get Riley to bite on that, try to go over the top. He's got to be careful.
Well, I hope not. 1:17 to go. The clock is still running as Glacier Peak electing not to use either of their timeouts yet. A little flinching there along the line. They don't call anything. They're going to call the draw play. Black looking to run. He finds some space. Breaks away from one tackler. He's still going and gets ahead for 13 yards down to the 48-yard line with 1:03 to go. "63 seconds left. This would be a 65-yard field goal from here. We're about 10 yards away from putting Pettit within his range.
Under a minute.
Souther takes the snap, throwing, intercepted! That's Gabe Brady. He's got some space to the 50, to the 40. Gabe Brady still running the 30, cuts it back, the 20, the 13, and he's finally tackled from behind.
He's got to go down. He might have fumbled the ball. Nope. He's down.
Gabe Brady put the ball on the turf. He was already down, though, with 41 seconds to go. The Hawks with the ball again. Learn to snap the ball into your quarterback's hand, and let's get out of here with a victory.
Also, learn when to just go down. Once you pick it off, no need to try to get extra yards. Get a couple, go down. You have 40 seconds left. 1 knee, 2 knees, the game's over with.
Mountlake Terrace is 41 seconds away from coming from 22 points back and winning this football game, but it is not over yet. The Hawks have struggled with their snaps tonight. This is just very simple. Drew Clippard to Justin Hopkins. Get the ball in his hands. Take a knee. Let's get the heck out of here. 2 timeouts left for Glacier Peak. Ball is snap. He almost fumbled that one, and we get a penalty marker down.
I'm confused on why they're trying to hand the ball off.
They've got 2 timeouts left, so certainly Glacier Peak can stop them on 1st and 2nd down, but then you snap it on 3rd down, and you can get that clock down to about 7 or 8 seconds left.
Game over if you take a knee.
I'm taking 2 knees right now.
I would talk to my center, tell him to slow that snap down a little bit, make sure Justin gets it in his hands, take a knee, and we're getting out of here with a W.
39 seconds showing on that clock. They ran 2 seconds off there, which could be huge. Doesn't appear as though they're going to put it back on as Justin Hopkins comes running back onto the field.
Just a reminder, Mountlake Terrace was down 22-0.
Yes, at halftime. 33-32, the Hawks by 1. Hopkins takes the snap. He's lunging forward. He should just get down as Glacier Peak trying to strip that ball. 34 seconds left, and Glacier Peak calls their second timeout. They have one more remaining after this. We'll keep it right here.
I do think after this game, the coaching staff is going to work with the quarterback about victory formation and just taking a knee instead of lunging for it. You don't need to do that.
No, not right now.
You got running backs behind you. Grab the ball, take a knee. That's all you got to do.
So 33 seconds left. You need to get 2 more clean snaps off. You need to get this one off to force them to call their last timeout, and then you need to get the 3rd down snap off cleanly, take a knee. That should run the clock out. There's 33 seconds left. It's a 30-second game clock or play clock. It's very simple. It's elementary. You literally don't even have to play football right now. You have to snap the ball to your quarterback, take a knee twice, and let's go home.
And, you know, if you do have 2 seconds left, you go for it on 4th down, you drop back.
You run the last 2 off. And I don't think you're going to have that even with 33 to go. It's over. I mean, it's literally over if you can snap the ball to your quarterback twice and have him take a knee.
How about Mountlake Terrace making a comeback down 22-0?
Get down, Justin. Get down, Justin. There we go. 29 seconds left. Glacier Peak calls their final timeout. You are 1 snap away from probably one of the biggest comebacks in school history and maybe what is the biggest regular season game in your school's history. And as I mentioned before, as I'm looking at the standings here right now, Linwood is playing Edmonds Woodway after this game. If Edmonds Woodway beats Linwood tonight, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks will clinch 2nd place. Mountlake Terrace would have 1 game left in conference. It would be against Linwood. And if Linwood has a 3rd loss already, the worst the Hawks could do is end up in a tie with Edmonds Woodway, and they've already won the tiebreaker because they beat them head-to-head. Win this game tonight. Edmonds Woodway beats Linwood, which I think they will anyway, and I think they're a much better team than Linwood. You could clinch a playoff spot by 11 o'clock tonight or by 10:30 tonight. All you need to do first and foremost is get this ball into Justin Hopkins' hand and take a knee and let's go home.
He doesn't have to run around. He doesn't have to do anything.
No.
Grab the ball, take a knee.
There it is.
Game over. Mountlake Terrace comes back.
25 seconds left.
And that is it.
Now it's just a matter of watching the clock. 33-32. Hawks with the lead. 14 seconds left, and all we have to do now is count it down. Oh,
10,
my goodness.
9, let the countdown begin.
22-0 at the half. It looked like you had 62 total yards of offense. You come out and you outscore the opponent 33-10 in the second half. Riley Morin, 94-yard punt return is the difference. Oh, my goodness. I didn't think it could get any better than the Edmonds Woodway game. It got a lot better tonight.
Got a lot better. This is unbelievable. Terrace always plays Glacier Peak hard. And tonight, they not only play them hard, they come back and they get the victory by 1 point.
So we are going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, you don't want to miss this post game, folks. We're going to have a player of the game. We'll get you caught up on some stats and then get you out of here because we do have another game coming up. Your final score, once again, 33-32. Hawks win. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And we're going to keep it right here. Hawks win 33-32. Watching Coach Tony Umayam there share a moment with his players. The players have not gone into the locker room yet as they are celebrating right now. The most improbable of victories just took place here tonight at Edmonds Stadium. Built this game up all week as being the game of the year. And for the first 24 minutes, we thought it was incredibly disappointing. They were down 22-0. At the half, and it looked like it was over, but no, the Hawks come storming back, and thanks to a 94-yard punt return by Riley Morin, the Hawks win. This is unbelievable. As we wait for our player of the game to come on up here right now. And our player of the game just went into the locker room. Hopefully we can get him back. We're going to take a quick break.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger. And thank you for watching.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is,
we'll be right back here in just a moment. Our player of the game is coming up right now.
Better protection.
You do not want to miss this one.
Because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger. And thank you for watching.
And we are back. What a finish tonight from Edmonds Stadium. 33-32. The Hawks coming from behind, coming from 22 back to win this game. And this guy right here just returned a punt 94 yards to be the hero. Riley Morton, did you ever imagine you would have a 94-yard punt return in maybe the biggest game in the school's history to win?
No, never.
Now, talk about that play a little bit. The ball was kicked along the right sideline. It bounced a couple times. Did you think about not touching it at first?
Oh, no, I knew I had to right at the beginning because the ref was like, you can't raise your hand high if you want to,
if you're going to fair catch it.
Yeah, and then I said to him, I can't do that. I have to return it.
So you got the ball, and I think it was like the second or third bounce, and you immediately did what coaches used to tell us never to do, which was they want you to run north-south, not east-west, right? You immediately took off towards the sideline. Did you know that you had blockers over there, or were you just trying to get out of the way?
I actually saw the guys running this way, and I knew I really couldn't run forward at that point, so I just kind of went around to hopefully get something out of it.
So at what point did you think you might have had a chance for a touchdown?
Right after Tanner killed that kid, and then Mikey killed.
You didn't kill him literally, by the way, but it was a nice block.
And that's like pretty much when I was right open, and then I knew that the kicker was right there, but I knew I could beat him.
Yeah, so you beat him. You did. You ran 94 yards for a touchdown, but then you still had a lot of time left on the clock. And I know you're having a pretty nice game out there at the corner position too. Were you a little nervous at that point, knowing that they had a good kicker?
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous. I knew my defense would come play well right there, and I knew we could do it. And you guys had to sweat it out there a little bit. You turned the ball over on the snap, and then but finally came through and you got it. 5-1 on the year. How much fun are you guys having out there right now? A lot of fun. We're really working together, but I think better than any other year I've seen. I've been here and watching the program for a while. Yeah, and using you on a lot of those fly sweeps. Are you getting pretty comfortable carrying that football? Yeah. You're okay with that? Yeah. Well, you should be. Hey, again, 33-32 final. Your 94-yard punt return just put this team over the top. You guys are in second place all by yourselves, and if Edmonds Woodway beats Linwood tonight, you clinch. Nice job. Yeah, thank you. So I'll let you get back down there and celebrate with your teammates. So, again, Riley Morin, our player of the game, our Red Onion Burger player of the game. And we'll you got family over here taking pictures now, so we'll get that. There you go, Riley. You better look over there. So, again, Riley Morin is our Red Onion Burgers player of the game tonight. Hawks win. They're 5-1 on the year. Riley, take this shirt. Enjoy this. Enjoy the victory, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. All right, excellent. So we will we'll keep this very short as we have another game coming up. I do not have any of our stats with us, but again, the next game is 22 minutes away. So we will just wrap this up right now by pointing out once again that the Hawks come from behind. They trailed 22-0 at the half, outscore Glacier Peak 33-10 in the second half, squeak out a very narrow 33-32 victory. Hawks raising their record to 5 wins and 1 loss on the season. 2 more games left before we get into playoffs. Again, Linwood next week, 5 o'clock. It's homecoming week, and Linwood's up next. So if you want to scout that game, come or stick around, tune back into Sound Live Sports Network in 20 minutes. I'll have the call for that game. You can see what the next Mountlake Terrace opponent looks like. But again, Linwood and Derek Nelson takes the stage over at Mountlake Terrace High School in 3 minutes. So if you're sitting around Mountlake Terrace tonight, you're looking for something to do, get up to the high school and watch that. But once again, the Hawks, with their 5th victory of the night, they clinch a winning season for the 3rd year in a row. It's never happened in Mountlake Terrace history. They are making the playoffs, so they've clinched a playoff spot potentially later on tonight for the 4th time in school history and the 4th time in 6 years. It's a historic night here at Edmonds Stadium, and it's a Hawks victory that does it. So again, for everybody involved in this production, I'd like to thank Jody Wallace, who was the color commentator tonight, for Angelo Camo and his entire staff, Ian Hentz, the entire crew. As I don't have people talking in my ear. I have people talking from here. This is great. Tanner Rook was on camera 1 tonight. Tanner's stepbrother. Devontae Downs is playing for Cal Berkeley tomorrow against the Mount Washington Huskies. So we're going to sign out for now so we can get ready for this next game. Again, your final score, Mountlake Terrace 33, Glacier Peak 32. Hawks win. You've been watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. Have a good night.